Close your eyes. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and take a deep, slow breath in. Feel the rhythm of your day beginning to fade, replaced by the steady, quiet hum of the night. Tonight, we are going to travel back, not just in time, but in rhythm. We are going to step into a world that existed long before the bright lights of grocery store aisles, long before the silent, humming convenience of the refrigerator in your kitchen, and long before the concept of instant existed. Imagine for a moment that you walk into your kitchen right now, but something is different. The air is still, the room feels larger, and the hum of your appliances has vanished. You open the door where you keep your food, and it is not just empty, the entire concept of the fridge is gone. There is no supermarket down the corner, no delivery app at your fingertips, and no global supply chain bringing you produce from across the ocean in the dead of winter. There is only you, your home, and the soil around you. For the people of the 1800s, this was not a challenge to be overcome or a modern nightmare. It was simply Tuesday. It was the natural, quiet pulse of life. How did they wake up without knowing if they would find what they needed? How did they turn the raw offerings of the earth into the warmth of a family meal? We often think of the past as a time of struggle, but it was also a time of deep, profound connection. It was a time when the turning of the leaves wasn't just a sign to put on a sweater, it was a signal that the pantry needed to change, that the larder needed to be filled, and that the community would soon come together to preserve the harvest. There is a strange, soothing beauty in that simplicity, a kind of wisdom that we have traded for convenience. As we drift together through these memories of the 19th century, I invite you to leave behind the ticking clock of your own life. Let the world outside become a distant thought. We are merely observers now, walking softly through farmhouses with sun-drenched wooden tables, crowded market streets echoing with the low chatter of neighbours, and gardens that held the lifeblood of entire families. We will look at how they kept the fire burning, how they transformed the simplest ingredients into sustenance, and how they understood the seasons in a way that we are only just beginning to rediscover. There was a patience in their hands, a knowledge in their preparation, and a rhythm in their eating that, if you listen closely enough, you can almost hear tonight. Let your thoughts settle like dust motes in a beam of soft evening light. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. Tonight we simply listen to the story of the table and the hands that set it. The channel Sleepy History with Benedict is a storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. As you settle deeper into your rest, let us step out of the quiet kitchen and into the fields of the early 1800s. To understand how they ate, we must first understand how they lived. In this era, time was not measured by digital clocks or ticking seconds, but by the arc of the sun and the changing colours of the earth. When the first frost touched the ground, it wasn't just a change in temperature, it was an instruction. It told the household that the season of growth was ending and the season of protection had begun. Think of the landscape of that time, small, interconnected patches of land, vibrant with the green of summer or the muted sleeping browns of winter. For 9 out of every 10 people, the morning began not with a commute to an office, but with a walk to the garden or the barn. The relationship with food was immediate and physical. You didn't just buy a bushel of apples, you planted the tree, pruned the branches, watched the blossoms turn to fruit, and finally picked them with your own hands. This deep, tactile connection meant that every meal told a story about where you lived. In the rolling hills of the countryside, the table was set by what the land could provide at that exact moment. If you were in a valley, you ate what grew in the valley. If you were near the coast, the rhythm of the tides dictated the contents of your pot. There was a profound, grounding honesty in this. You weren't searching for variety from the other side of the world, you were finding the extraordinary in the familiar. Consider the anticipation that came with each season. There was the first spring harvest, the tender greens, the wild ramps, the sweetness of fresh milk after a long winter of stored supplies. Then came the abundance of summer, the peak of the year when everything seemed to grow at once, and families worked from dawn until dusk to keep up with the bounty. Then autumn, the season of gathering, of husking corn and pulling root vegetables from the cooling earth, a time of quiet, focused urgency. And finally winter, a time of stillness, of retreating indoors, of relying on the careful planning of the months prior. In the 1800s, winter was not a season of lack, provided the work of the previous 3 seasons had been done well. It was a season of stability, warmth, and the quiet satisfaction of a full root cellar. As you listen, try to imagine that cycle. Feel the change of the wind, the smell of damp soil in the spring, the heavy heat of the summer sun, and the crisp, clean air of the first snow. When you live in harmony with these rhythms, you don't just eat for fuel, you eat to celebrate the cycle of life itself. You learn the patience of a seed, the resilience of a stalk, and the quiet triumph of a harvest successfully brought in. It is a peaceful, predictable, and comforting way of existence. There is a sense of belonging that comes from knowing exactly where your food comes from and who labored to bring it to your plate. As your breathing slows, let yourself drift into that landscape. Imagine the steady, rhythmic work of the day, the satisfaction of the harvest, and the deep, restorative sleep that comes after a day well spent working with the land. You are safe here, in the quiet, steady flow of the seasons, far away from the rush of the modern world, anchored to the earth and the timeless, gentle wisdom of the past. Now let the scene in your mind shift from the open fields to the heart of the home, the cellar and the larder. Imagine a cool, dim space beneath the floorboards, the root cellar. This was the sanctuary of the 1800s household. In the absence of humming refrigerators, this humble, earth-sheltered room was the silent guardian against spoilage and waste. Here the air always smelled of damp earth, dried straw, and the sweet, starchy scent of stored potatoes and winter squash. It was a place of quiet order. Every shelf, every hanging bundle, and every earthen jar was a testament to the family's foresight. Before the first biting chill of winter arrived, the kitchen transformed into a hive of industrious, rhythmic activity. This was a season of preservation, a race against the inevitable turning of the calendar. Think of the sight of it, large copper pots simmering over the hearth, filling the room with the aromatic steam of apple cider or boiling brine. The sound of a metal knife gently slicing through cabbage for sauerkraut. The steady, rhythmic scrubbing of root vegetables, and the soft clinking of glass jars being filled and sealed. Nothing was wasted. If the garden provided a surplus of cucumbers, they were pickled in sharp, bracing vinegar and seasoned with dill and mustard seed. If the orchard yielded more fruit than could be eaten fresh, it was sliced thin and laid out on wooden racks to dry in the gentle autumn sun, concentrating its sweetness into chewy golden morsels. Meat was treated with even greater reverence. It was rubbed with coarse salt and tucked away in barrels or hung in the smokehouse, where the slow curling ribbons of wood smoke, oak, hickory, or apple worked their magic over many days. This was not merely cooking, it was chemistry and artistry blended into a survival strategy. It was an intimate knowledge passed down through generations. A woman's hand knew, by the feel of the brine or the weight of the harvest, exactly what was needed to see her family through to the spring. It was a form of silent communication between the cook and the seasons. As you lie here, imagine the soft glow of a lantern illuminating these tasks. There is a profound sense of security in knowing that the pantry is stocked, that the shelves are lined with the preserved sunlight of summer. The panic of scarcity is replaced by the calm confidence of preparation. It is a slow, steady, and deliberate way of life. The kitchen was the centre of this universe, a place of warmth, productivity, and the shared labour of those who lived under one roof. Let the image of these stocked shelves, these jars of preserved light and nourishment, bring a sense of order to your own mind. Everything has its place, and everything is provided for. You are in a place of plenty, a place where care and patience turn the simple gifts of the earth into the lasting comfort of a home. Step now into the dining space of a typical home, where the day's labour finds its quiet conclusion. Picture a sturdy, well-worn wooden table. its surface smoothed by years of use, etched with the marks of daily life. The light in the room is soft, cast by the flickering flame of a tallow candle or the low golden glow of the hearth. There is a profound stillness here, a sacred pause in the day that invites the weary to rest. The meal before them is simple, unadorned, and deeply honest. Perhaps it is a thick, hearty stew, simmering for hours in an iron pot hung over the fire. You can almost smell the earthiness of the onions, the subtle sweetness of carrots pulled from the garden just that morning, and the rich, savoury depth of meat that was salted and stored with such care months before. There might be a loaf of crusty, home-baked bread, warm from the oven, its steam rising in thin, wispy ribbons to meet the cool air of the room. For many in the 1800s, the menu was dictated by what was available rather than by desire. In the more modest homes, this meant a reliance on humble staples, porridge made from coarse grains, potatoes cooked in their jackets, onions, turnips, and perhaps a small ration of preserved meat to stretch the flavour. Yet there is a warmth to this simplicity that is easy to romanticize, but also beautiful to observe. It was food that connected the eater directly to the sweat of their own brow and the cycles of their own land. In the quiet of the evening, as families gathered around these wooden tables, the act of eating became a ritual of survival and connection. There was no distraction of modern noise, no humming of electric lights, no frantic pace of the world outside. There was only the sound of a spoon against a ceramic bowl, the low hum of conversation, and the shared knowledge that they had made it through another day. It was a time to count blessings, to speak softly of the harvest, and to find comfort in the presence of those who shared the same hearth. Even in the disparity of the times, where the wealthy might enjoy a greater variety of imported spices, fine teas, and delicate pastries, the core truth remained the same. Food was the foundation of community. Whether it was a bowl of thin onion soup shared in a draughty cottage, or a spread of roasted vegetables in a sprawling farmhouse, the table was the place where life was reconciled. It was where the day's struggles were set aside, and the sustenance of the earth was transformed into the energy for tomorrow's work. As you listen, try to imagine the texture of the bread, the warmth of the broth, and the heavy, comforting weight of a day's end. Let your body relax, mirroring the slow, deliberate pace of these meals. There is no rush here. The world is small, contained within these four walls, and for this moment everything is sufficient. The day is done, the chores are finished, and the hearth is glowing with the steady light of a task well done. All stories on this channel, Sleepy History with Benedict, are fictional, thoughtfully crafted around historical themes and inspired by real events, figures and periods, reimagined for engaging storytelling. The content does not represent real individuals, actual events, or documented cases. Any resemblance to real people, animals, or events is purely coincidental. Now let us leave the quiet farmhouse and travel to the growing cities of the 19th century. As the sun begins to climb, the cobblestone streets wake up, not with the roar of engines, but with the clatter of horse-drawn carts and the melodic calls of street vendors. If the farm was the place of production, the city market was the beating heart of the community. Imagine walking through these crowded, bustling alleys. The air here is a thick, intoxicating mixture of scents. The sharp, vinegary smell of pickled goods in wooden barrels, the yeasty aroma of fresh bread from a nearby bakery, the brine of fresh fish on ice, and the sweet, earthy fragrance of produce freshly brought in from the surrounding countryside. Every corner of the market is a story. These were the social hubs of the age. People did not just come here to buy their daily flour, salt, or seasonal vegetables. They came to exchange news, to hear the gossip of the town, and to feel part of a collective rhythm. You would see the blacksmith talking to the baker, the seamstress comparing prices for eggs, and neighbours greeting one another with a nod and a tip of the hat. In a world without the internet or instant messaging, the market was the place where you learned who was married, who had moved, and how the harvest was faring in the neighbouring counties. For the urban families, the market was essential. Without a garden to pull from, they relied on these stalls to provide the ingredients for their soups and stews. You would see mothers carefully inspecting a sack of potatoes or a bundle of herbs, their hands moving with the practiced precision of those who had to make every penny count. It was a place of economic reality, where the price of grain could change overnight and where one's daily bread was literally earned and traded in the open air. It is a fascinating scene to observe from a distance, isn't it? The sheer human ingenuity required to keep these city populations fed, managed, and connected. There was a fragile, beautiful interdependence here. As you visualize the colorful stalls and the steady flow of people moving through the narrow streets, let your mind slow down. Let the noise of the market fade into a gentle, rhythmic hum, a backdrop to your own journey toward rest. If this peaceful history helps you unwind and brings a sense of calm to your evening, please show your support by hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel to join us on our next journey through time, and tap the bell to be notified whenever a new story is ready for you. Your presence here, in the quiet corners of history, is what keeps this hearth burning. As we linger in the shadows of the 19th century city, it is important to observe the delicate threads of inequality that wove through the fabric of daily life. While the markets were vibrant and bustling, the contents of the baskets carried home varied greatly depending on a family's fortune. For the families of modest means, life was often a careful calculation of survival. Economic hardship was a shadow that followed them closely, making every meal a testament to resilience. In these homes, the diet was steady and predictable, rooted in inexpensive, filling staples. A simple bowl of porridge, a thick slice of rye bread, onions and potatoes, these were the building blocks of energy. Stews were the great equalizer, a way to stretch a small portion of meat by simmering it for hours with root vegetables, thickened with grain or a dash of flour, until it became a rich, warming meal that could sustain a worker through long, grueling hours of labor. When the harvest was lean, or when winter dragged on longer than expected, these families demonstrated a profound, quiet ingenuity. They knew how to make something from almost nothing, finding sustenance in ingredients that others might overlook. It was a life lived with a keen awareness of the cost of things, a discipline born of necessity. Conversely, look toward the finer homes, the grander estates where the clink of silver on fine china replaced the humble scrape of a wooden spoon. Here the pantry held imported treasures, fragrant spices from distant lands, dark teas, fine white flour, and sugars that felt like luxury on the tongue. Their meals were not dictated by the immediate scarcity of the season, but by access to a wider world of trade. They enjoyed a variety that was often far removed from the dirt and the toil of the garden. Yet there is a strange, quiet truth that links these two worlds. Whether one sat at a polished mahogany table or a rough-hewn wooden bench, the fundamental act of eating remained the same. It was the centerpiece of the day. For both the rich and the poor, food was the anchor. It was the rhythm that divided the morning from the afternoon, and the afternoon from the night. As you lie here drifting further into the stillness, let these contrasts soften. The pride of the wealthy and the endurance of the working class are both just small, fleeting parts of a much larger story, a story of people doing their best, day after day, to provide for those they loved. The hunger and the abundance, the struggle and the comfort, all eventually dissolve into the quiet of the night. Let go of the need to distinguish between them. Simply feel the peace that comes from the simplicity of the past. A time when life was hard, yes, but also deeply, profoundly connected to the earth that provided for everyone in its own way. In this era, before the humming boxes of metal that we now keep in our kitchens, there was another kind of magic. It was a magic not found in machines, but in the white, crystalline grains of salt. Imagine, if you will, the pantry of a 19th century home. On the shelves, nestled between jars of pickled beets and dried beans, you would find the most valuable treasure of the household. For the vast majority of human history, salt was not merely a seasoning, it was a currency, a guardian and a necessity. It was traded with the same gravity as gold. It funded empires and dictated the paths of trade routes across continents. In the 1800s, this reliance on salt was absolute. Without it, the harvest would simply rot, and the winter would be a time of true biting hunger. Think of the patience required to put up the food. It was a slow, deliberate act of love. When a farmer slaughtered livestock in the late autumn, the salt cellar became the centre of the kitchen. They would rub coarse salt deep into the meat, drawing out the moisture, creating an environment where nothing unwanted could survive. This process, known as curing, was a form of protection. The salt was a barrier against time itself. But it wasn't just salt. There was the art of fermentation, the bubbly living process that turned simple cabbage into sauerkraut, or milk into tangy thick curds. There was the smokehouse, where fires were kept burning with specific woods, hickory, oak, apple, imparting deep, woody notes into the meat while sealing it against the elements. Each jar, each barrel, each smoked side of pork represented a calculation, a careful estimation of how many months stood between the harvest and the first spring thaw. They knew, without the help of modern chemistry, that if they maintained the right balance, not too much moisture, not too much heat, just enough salt, the food would endure. They were working with the natural processes of life, nudging them, guiding them, and harnessing them to ensure their family's survival. As your eyelids grow heavier, imagine the quiet, steady life of these ingredients. They were resting in their barrels and jars, maturing, transforming, and waiting for the moment they would be needed. There is a deep comfort in this. It teaches us that time is not always an enemy to be feared. Sometimes, with the right care and the right preparation, time is a collaborator. It is a process that brings out new depths of flavour and character. Let your own mind settle into that same state of quiet endurance. You are in a safe place where everything is being taken care of, and all you need to do is rest. Deep in the heart of late autumn, when the days grow short and the shadows stretch long across the barn floor, there was a specific, comforting ritual that defined the 1800s, the tending of the smokehouse. As you settle deeper into your rest, try to imagine the smell of it, a clean, sharp, woody fragrance that drifted through the crisp evening air. It was the scent of survival, a gentle signal that the family would be fed when the snows arrived. The farmers of that time may not have known the complex science of what they were doing, yet they performed a miracle every day. They didn't know that wood smoke contains hundreds of chemical compounds, phenols and natural antioxidants that act as a shield for meat. They didn't know about antimicrobial barriers or the way certain acids slow down the passage of time on food. They simply knew, through generations of wisdom, that if they kept the fire smouldering just right, the meat would remain safe, golden and delicious. It was a slow, steady work. The fire was rarely a roaring blaze. It was a gentle, persistent glow, releasing thin ribbons of blue-white smoke that curled around the hanging hams and sausages. Imagine sitting nearby, perhaps on a low stool, listening to the soft popping of the wood and watching the smoke dance in the dim light of a lantern. There is a profound meditative peace in this image. It is the sound of nothing changing, the sound of preservation, the sound of a world that is pausing to prepare for the future. This was the rhythm of the kitchen and the hearth, a constant quiet labour that held the chaos of the world at bay. It was a time when you could truly feel the passage of the seasons, when you knew the character of the wood you burned and the weight of the salt you used. It was an intimate connection to the earth, one that we have largely forgotten in our age of instant convenience. But tonight, as you drift, you can reclaim that feeling. You can feel the warmth of that hearth, the security of the smokehouse, and the deep, quiet confidence of a job well done. If you find yourself drifting away to the scent of wood smoke and the quiet rhythm of this history, please do us the kindness of clicking the like button. It helps our community grow and ensures these stories reach others seeking a moment of peace. If you haven't already, subscribe to Sleepy History with Benedict and hit the bell icon. We have so many more quiet journeys to take together. Your support keeps the fire burning, and I am so grateful to have you here in this peaceful corner of the past. Now let the evening fade away and allow the grey, soft light of a winter morning to take its place. Outside the farmhouse, the world is hushed. The frost has settled on the window pane in delicate fern-like patterns, and the air is still and incredibly crisp. Inside the house is cold, but there is a familiar, comforting routine that begins long before the sun has fully cleared the horizon. This is the time of the hearth. One person, perhaps a mother or a father, moves quietly through the dark, their movements silent, practiced and efficient. They stir the embers of last night's fire, banking the ashes aside to reveal the glowing heart of the coals. With a few pieces of kindling and a gentle breath, the flame returns bright and orange, chasing away the chill. The smell of wood smoke begins to mingle with the promise of the coming day. Breakfast in the 1800s was not the elaborate affair we might imagine today. It was a fuel for the body, designed to sustain the heavy labour that would follow. It was often small, light, and deeply warming. Think of a simple bowl of porridge, oats or cornmeal, simmered in water or perhaps a splash of milk, sweetened with a hint of honey or dried fruit if the season allowed. It was a meal that asked for nothing more than a spoon and a moment of quiet focus. In some regions, the morning table might feature fried hominy, or a slice of dense, hearty bread, perhaps dipped into milk or warmed near the fire. There was no rush here. The livestock needed tending, the fences needed checking, and the fields were waiting, but for this brief moment the family gathered around the warmth of the stove to share a simple meal. It was a time to steel oneself against the cold, to exchange a few words, and to find the energy needed for the day. As you listen, try to imagine that stillness, the way the cold air feels against your skin, contrasted with the radiant, creeping warmth of the fire. The silence of the morning, broken only by the soft scraping of a spoon or the occasional pop of a log. There is a profound sense of purpose in this simple act of waking, eating, and preparing. It is not a race, it is a foundation. Let your own morning preparation or your transition into sleep reflect this slow, deliberate care. As the warmth spreads through the room in your imagination, let it spread through your limbs. Feel the tension leaving your muscles, replaced by the steady, heavy comfort of a belly that is warm and a hearth that is burning. You are anchored to the simple, necessary, and beautiful rhythms of life. There is nothing to worry about. The sun will rise, the work will be done, and for now, in this moment, you are at peace. While the farmhouse and the kitchen represent the solitude and the labour of the season, the local market represents the pulse of the community. Even in the 1800s, where distances were vast and travel was slow, the market served as the glue that held the neighbourhood together. Imagine the scene on a crisp market day in a growing village. The dust of the road rises under the wheels of wagons, and the air is alive with the low murmur of voices, the clinking of coins, and the laughter of neighbours seeing one another for the first time in weeks. In this age, news did not travel by wires or screens. It travelled through the mouths of those who stood together by the stalls, who was married, whose barn had been raised, which farm had the best yield this year. These stories were shared over baskets of eggs, bundles of dried herbs, and tubs of salted butter. You might watch a young farmer negotiating the price of a bushel of apples, his face serious, his hands calloused from the plough, while his neighbour offers a trade, a jar of honey for a freshly caught fish. There is a gentle human beauty in this. Food was not just a commodity, it was an extension of the person who produced it. When you bought bread from the local baker, you knew exactly whose hands had kneaded the dough and whose fire had baked it. There was a sense of accountability and pride that vanished in later years as life became more anonymous. The market was also a place of relief. For a family struggling through a lean month, a neighbourly gesture, a little extra produce slipped into a basket, a shared piece of advice on how to stretch a grain supply could make all the difference. It was a space where the competitive nature of the world softened into something more communal, more supportive. As you drift here, let the image of this bustling, friendly square anchor you. Imagine yourself walking through those stalls, the ground solid beneath your feet, the voices of the past fading into a soft melodic background noise. You are part of this long chain of humanity, a link in a story that has been told for centuries. There is nothing expected of you here, no rush, no commerce, only the peace of observing a world that knows how to slow down and connect. If you're finding yourself drifting into a deep, peaceful rest, remember that this journey is made possible by your presence. If these stories help you find the quiet you need, please take a moment to click the like button. It helps more people find this sanctuary of history. If you haven't subscribed to Sleepy History with Benedict yet, please do so and tap the bell icon. Your support allows us to continue building this library of calm, and I'm honored to share this time with you tonight. As our journey through the 19th century draws to a gentle close, I want you to bring your attention back to your own kitchen, right here in the present day. Think of the jar of pickles sitting on your shelf, the loaf of bread in your pantry, or the soup simmering on your stove. Do you see them differently now? Every item in your home is a silent inheritor of the lessons we have explored tonight. When you open a container that keeps your food fresh, you are utilizing a miracle of engineering that was once the dream of those who lived before us. When you eat something that tastes truly good, not just convenient, but deep, rich, and nourishing, you are tasting the legacy of generations who understood with a clarity born of absolute necessity that food is more than just fuel. It is memory, it is culture, it is the most intimate, tangible connection between the hands that work the land and the hands that set the table. It is the taste of a particular season on a particular piece of earth. We did not arrive at this modern table by accident. We arrived here on the backs of ancestors who knew how to store, how to preserve, how to wait, and how to share. The supermarket is a miracle, yes, but the root cellar was a miracle too, maybe, in our modern world where everything is always available at the touch of a button. What we need most is to hold both of these truths at the same time, to appreciate the convenience we have while honoring the patience and the profound rhythmic labor that defined the lives of those who came before. Let the weight of that realization settle into your bones as you drift. You are part of a long, unbroken chain. The human desire to feed, to care for, and to gather around a table is timeless. It is a story that has no ending. It will continue as long as there is someone to plant a seed, someone to light a fire, and someone to sit down, take a deep breath, and appreciate the sustenance of life. Tonight, as you let go of the day, carry these images with you. The flicker of a candle, the warmth of the hearth, the quiet order of the cellar, and the collective spirit of the market. Let them be the soft, steady backdrop to your dreams. You have travelled through time, through hardships, and through the ingenuity of a world that made everything out of almost nothing. You have earned your rest. This content is inspired by and adapted from public domain works available through Project Gutenberg. The material has been transformed through original narration, editing, and storytelling to create a unique experience for educational and entertainment purposes. As you drift further into the quiet of the night, let your mind wander to the travellers of the 1800s. People were moving across oceans, across borders, and across vast, unsettled landscapes in search of a new beginning. They did not just pack their clothes or their tools in those heavy wooden trunks, they packed their heritage. Imagine a woman sitting on the deck of a ship, or in the cramped, swaying interior of a covered wagon. Tucked deep inside her apron pocket, or wrapped in a scrap of cloth, is a small packet of seeds, perhaps heirloom tomatoes from her grandmother's garden, or a special strain of rye from the valley where she was born. These were not just seeds, they were her connection to home, a promise that no matter how far she travelled, she could recreate the taste of her past. Think of the handwritten journals that were passed from mother to daughter, their pages stained with flour, butter, and thyme. These journals contained more than just instructions for bread or stew, they contained the secrets of how to survive in a new, unknown environment. When they arrived in a strange land with different soils, different weather, and different ingredients, they had to adapt. They took the old ways, the pickling, the drying, the slow simmering, and applied them to the new plants and the new creatures they found. It was a beautiful, ongoing experiment. A dish that began in a rustic cottage in Europe was slowly transformed by the ingredients of the American prairie, the Appalachian hills, or the bustling coastal towns. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a memory of home combined with the reality of the present. This is how traditions were born. This is how the tapestry of our shared culinary history was woven, one meal at a time. As you listen to the rhythmic, steady sound of my voice, imagine these travellers setting down their roots. Imagine the satisfaction of that first harvest in a new land, the feeling of placing a bowl of warm, fragrant food on a table in a home they built with their own hands. It is a story of resilience, of the human ability to find comfort and beauty in any situation, no matter how difficult the journey might be. Let this thought bring you a sense of belonging. You too are a traveller through the long history of human experience. You are carrying forward the echoes of those who came before you, their patience, their ingenuity, and their quiet determination to turn the raw materials of life into something warm, nourishing, and true. As the world outside fades into the deep, dark calm of the night, know that you are part of a story that is vast, ancient, and endlessly unfolding. You are safe, you are grounded, and you are ready to rest. Let your mind return to the interior of a 19th century home, where the seasons were not just dates on a calendar, but a living, breathing symphony that played out in the kitchen. Imagine the sequence of sounds and scents, like a musical composition that repeats year after year, anchoring everyone within the walls in a deep, inevitable rhythm. In the spring, the symphony begins with the light, sharp notes of emerging life, the smell of rain on newly turned soil, the freshness of wild greens, the subtle sweetness of a fresh spring onion. The sound is that of the garden being prepared, the soft scraping of a hoe, the rustle of seeds being tucked into the earth. It is a time of hope, a time when the pantry is at its lowest, but the promise of the harvest is at its highest. Then the symphony swells into the rich, heavy harmony of summer. The air becomes thick and sweet, heavy with the scent of berries ripening in the sun, of stone fruits softening, and of damp earth under the heat of the day. The sound here is the constant, rhythmic bubbling of preserves on the stove, the hum of bees in the garden, and the evening breeze moving through the open shutters. It is the height of abundance, a golden, warm moment that seems to stretch on forever. As autumn arrives, the tempo changes. It becomes more focused, more urgent, yet profoundly peaceful. The scent is of drying herbs, of wood smoke, of drying corn, and of roots being pulled from the cool earth. The sound is the clinking of jars, the husking of corn, and the drying of leaves underfoot. It is the sound of gathering, of preparing, and of building a wall against the coming cold. And finally, winter. The symphony settles into a low, steady, deep bass note, the quiet of the snow outside, the warmth of the fire within, the slow, rhythmic simmer of a pot of stew that has been on the hearth for hours. The scent is of wood smoke, of dried spices, of bread baking, and of deep, hearty comfort. It is the sound of the family resting, of stories being told in the low light, of knowing that everything is in its place and the winter will be weathered. As you lie here listening, try to hear this symphony in your own mind. It is a slow, steady pulse that has beat for centuries. It is the song of human survival, of human ingenuity, and above all of human care. You are listening to the rhythm of the people who built the world we live in today. Let these sounds wash over you. Let the seasons move through your thoughts like a gentle, changing wind. You are safe in the middle of this song. You are held by its steady, ancient rhythm. Let it guide you deeper into the quiet, dark, and restorative space of sleep. Think now, as you drift further into the stillness, of the hands that did all this work. We often look at history through the lens of great events. But the real history of the 1800s was written by the hands of those who laboured in the kitchen and the field. Picture a pair of hands, perhaps calloused, perhaps stained by the earth, perhaps showing the gentle lines of a lifetime of work. These were the hands that turned the raw gifts of nature into the fabric of daily life. These hands knew the exact texture of dough that was ready to be shaped. They knew the precise weight of a cabbage that would make the best kraut. the exact amount of salt needed to cure a ham so it would last through the bitterest January, and the subtle, instinctive timing of when to take a loaf out of the oven. There was a profound, silent intelligence in those hands, a knowledge that wasn't written down in textbooks or manuals, but passed from one generation to the next, like a song or a story. There is a quiet dignity in that kind of labour. It wasn't about speed, and it certainly wasn't about convenience. It was about an intimate, tactile relationship with the world. When you knead bread, you're not just mixing flour and water, you're working with a living thing. When you tend a fire, you're not just burning wood, you're managing a force of nature. Every motion was deliberate, every task had its place, and every piece of work was a contribution to the well-being of the family. In our modern lives, we often lose that connection. We touch screens, we press buttons, we buy things that are already finished, packaged, and ready to go. We have traded the texture of life for the efficiency of the moment. But tonight, in this safe, quiet space of memory, you can reclaim that feeling. You can imagine the feeling of flour between your fingers, the cool, smooth skin of an apple, the weight of a heavy iron pot in your hands. Let that image center you. Let the focus move from the rush of the world outside to the slow, steady movement of those working hands. They are peaceful, they are capable, they are doing exactly what they need to do in the rhythm of the season. As your own hands rest now, heavy and relaxed at your sides, let them share in that peace. Feel the weight of the day lifting away, replaced by the steady, calm and grounded feeling of a task completed. The work is done, the fire is banked, the house is quiet, you are at rest. As we reach the quiet conclusion of our journey tonight, I invite you to take one final deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs, and as you exhale, imagine releasing any remaining tension you might be holding. Think back on the images we've wandered through: the sun-drenched gardens, the cool earth-scented cellars, the bustling markets filled with the life of a village, and the warm golden glow of a hearth fire flickering in the deepening winter night. These stories aren't just remnants of a time gone by, they are a reminder of what we are capable of when we move in harmony with our world. They remind us that food is not just sustenance, it is a profound expression of care, a legacy of patience, and the most intimate connection we share with the earth and with each other. Even in the simplicity of a piece of bread or the warmth of a bowl of soup, there is a story of the land, the season, the labour and the love that brought it to the table. As you drift away, let these thoughts settle into the quiet corners of your mind. There is no need to hold on to the events of your day or the worries of tomorrow. Everything that truly matters is here, in the stillness of the present moment. The fire is burning, the pantry is full, and you are exactly where you need to be. The wisdom of those who came before us is a gentle blanket, providing comfort and a sense of belonging to something much larger, much deeper, and much more beautiful than the rush of modern life. If this peaceful journey has helped you settle into the quiet of the night, please consider showing your support by hitting the like button. It is a small gesture that helps others find this same sanctuary of calm. If you haven't subscribed to Sleepy History with Benedict yet, please do so and tap the bell icon. We have many more quiet paths to walk together in the future. I am truly grateful that you chose to share this time with me. Now, let the last echoes of our story fade into the velvet dark. Let your breathing remain soft and slow. Feel the weight of your body sinking into your bed, perfectly supported, perfectly still. You have travelled through time, through the harvest, and through the quiet wisdom of the past. You have done enough, you have seen enough, and now it is time for you to let go of everything, drift, dream and rest. You are safe, you are at peace. Good night. As you drift even deeper into the restorative landscape of sleep, consider for a moment the quiet endurance of the seeds themselves. In the 1800s, a seed was a promise. It was the future held in the palm of a hand, small, dry and unassuming, yet containing the entire blueprint of a harvest that would feed a family for a year. The act of saving seeds, selecting the finest, drying them, storing them through the long, harsh winter, was an act of profound faith. It was a refusal to believe that the cold, dark days of winter would last forever. Imagine the hands that did this work. They were not focused on the immediate hunger of the day, but on the potential of a year yet to come. This is the heart of the legacy we carry today. Every time we choose to nurture something, every time we choose to wait, every time we choose to care for a process rather than demanding an instant result, we are echoing that ancient, silent wisdom. We are planting seeds of patience in our own lives, just as they did in their fields. There is a serene, grounding power in this knowledge. The world may move with chaotic speed around us, but beneath that there is an ancient, steady current of growth and preparation. Think of the generations who stood exactly where you are, wondering about the future, wondering if the harvest would be enough, yet finding the strength to keep going, to keep planting, to keep caring. That strength is within you now. It is in the slow, rhythmic pace of your breathing. It is in the way your body softens into the mattress, letting go of the need to control or to rush. You are part of an unbroken line of people who have found comfort in the cycles of the earth. You are safe within the continuity of this human experience. Let yourself be cradled by that thought. You are not alone in your journey. You are carried by the lessons, the habits, and the quiet resilience of those who came before. The seeds have been sown, the harvest has been gathered, and now the land and your mind is resting. Let the darkness be a soft, protective cover over these thoughts, nourishing them just as the earth nourishes the seed. There is nothing more for you to do tonight. The cycle is complete, the house is silent, and you are free to simply be. As the night deepens, let your thoughts drift to the quiet corners of the farmhouse, where a small wooden writing desk might sit by the window. In the 1800s, this desk was a portal of connection. It was here that women would sit by the flickering light of a candle to pen letters to sisters, mothers, or friends living miles away, often across vast, untamed territories. These were not just letters of greeting, they were vessels of invaluable knowledge. How do you keep the apples from bruising in the cellar? What ratio of salt to water makes the crispest pickles? How long must the hickory smoke curls around the ham to truly preserve it for the deep winter? These questions and their answers formed an invisible, sprawling network of wisdom that kept households thriving across the country. Imagine the ink scratching against the paper, the smell of the parchment, and the deliberate, careful way these recipes were described. There was no internet to search, no video to watch. There was only the power of the written word, a recipe shared, a technique explained, a small practical secret for surviving the changing seasons. These scraps of paper tucked into Bibles or kept in wooden boxes were more precious than anything one could buy at a market. They were the distilled experience of a lifetime, handed over with the hope that they would make someone else's life a little warmer, a little easier. This was a communal act of care. It recognized that we are not meant to struggle alone, that the challenges of feeding a family and navigating the seasons are burdens best carried together. Even when separated by great distances, these women were connected by the hearth, united by the shared language of preservation, of preparation, and of the fundamental desire to provide comfort. As you lie in the quiet, feel that thread of connection. You are part of that same long story. The desire to share, to help, and to provide comfort is still alive within you. It is a soft, warm light that glows in the dark. You are surrounded by the wisdom of those who came before, their lessons woven into the very fabric of how we think about home and sustenance today. Let this feeling of being connected to the past, to the earth, and to the shared human experience of care be the last thing you think of as you drift. You are not isolated. You are part of something vast and beautiful, a lineage of quiet hands and steady hearts. The world is at rest, and so are you. Everything is in order, everything is enough. Now let your imagination come to rest upon a single stationary object that stood at the center of every home, the dining table. It was rarely a piece of refined furniture. More often it was a heavy slab of local oak or pine, joined by hand and smoothed by decades of daily use. It was the witness to everything. Think of the marks on that wood, the nicks from a dull carving knife, the deep indentations from a heavy iron pot set down in haste, the faint stains where cider or broth had spilled and been wiped away by 1,000 hurried cleanings. These marks were not imperfections, they were a chronicle of a family's life. They told the story of every winter stew, every spring celebration, and every quiet, solitary meal eaten in the grey light of a rainy afternoon. There is something deeply soothing about the permanence of that wood. While the people around it changed, grew, and aged, the table remained a steady, unmoving anchor. It invited the family to slow down. It asked them to sit, to place their hands upon its surface, and to be present with one another. Even when the world outside was in turmoil, when the seasons were harsh or the economic times were lean, the table was a sanctuary. It was the place where bread was broken and where the exhaustion of the day was laid down. As you lie here, envision that heavy, solid piece of wood. Feel its cool, smooth surface under your own hands in your mind's eye. It is steady. It is grounded. It does not move. It does not rush. And it does not worry. It simply supports, offering a place for nourishment and a place for rest. Let your own body find that same sense of stability. Like that heavy table, you can release the weight of the day. You don't need to carry the tasks, the worries, or the responsibilities of the past hours anymore. You have provided for what was needed. You have navigated your own seasons, and now you are entitled to this moment of absolute stillness. The wood of the table, the grain of the floorboards, the steady pulse of the house at night, all of it is breathing with you. Everything has settled. The story of the day is written, the table is cleared, and the quiet has claimed the room. You are completely, deeply at peace. As the night deepens further, imagine the world outside the farmhouse walls has fallen into a profound, hushed stillness. A thick blanket of winter snow has muffled the landscape, erasing the tracks of the day and turning the world into a soft, monochromatic dreamscape. The wind, which may have howled earlier, has now settled into a low, distant whisper, barely audible against the thick timber of the walls. Inside the house is a small, warm island in an ocean of winter. The only sounds are the rhythmic, gentle pops of the hearth fire and the soft, steady breathing of those who have already found their rest. The smell of wood smoke has become a part of the air itself, a comforting, familiar presence that signals safety and protection. In this moment, time itself seems to slow down, almost to a halt. The frantic pace of the harvest, the urgency of the market, the constant labour of the previous months, all of it has been set aside. There is nothing left to do. The root cellar is stocked, the woodpile is high, and the home is secure. There is a deep, primal satisfaction in this state of completion. It is the peace of knowing that you have met the demands of your season, and now you are permitted to let go. Let your own consciousness mirror this winter landscape. Let the noise of your own thoughts be muffled, like the ground outside under the snow. Let your awareness settle, layer by layer, until you are as still and as calm as the frozen earth. There is no need for movement. There is no need for planning. There is only the warmth of the fire within you, the steady rhythm of your breath, and the vast, peaceful quiet of the night. Feel the weight of your body sinking deeper into the softness of your bed, supported and held. The cold outside only makes the warmth inside feel more precious, more intimate. You are safe, you are warm, you are exactly where you need to be. The journey of the day has brought you here, to this point of perfect rest, where the past and the present blur together into a single beautiful moment of stillness. Everything is done. The world is quiet, and you are drifting into the deep, restorative dark. If you were to step out of that farmhouse for just a moment, into the crisp, biting air of the winter night, you would see a sight that hasn't changed for 1,000 years. Above the sleeping fields, above the silent barns, and above the frosted roof of your home, the sky is a vast velvet expanse, scattered with the light of ancient distant stars. There is no light pollution to dim their brilliance. They shine with a steady, cold and eternal light, watching over the world as it rests. In the 1800s, people lived under these same stars. They looked up at the very same patterns of light that you see now, and in that vastness they found a sense of perspective. No matter how hard the day had been, no matter how much labour remained, the stars reminded them that the world was larger than their struggles, and that there was a peaceful, ordered rhythm to the cosmos that governed all things. Imagine yourself standing in the snow, looking up at that infinite quiet beauty. The cold air is invigorating, but you are not afraid of it, because you know the warmth of the fire is waiting for you just behind the door. The stars are the keepers of silence. They have seen the harvests come and go, they have seen the seasons turn, and they have watched over the quiet lives of those who worked the earth. They are the ultimate testament to the idea that everything passes and everything finds its rest. As you look up, let your awareness expand to match the sky. Feel the space, the peace, and the timelessness of the night. There is no urgency in the stars, there is no pressure in the vastness of the universe. There is only the steady, unfolding beauty of the present moment. Now let yourself gently step back inside, close the heavy wooden door behind you, shutting out the cold and welcoming the warmth. Walk back to your bed, let your limbs grow heavy and sink into the softness that awaits. You are home. You are safe. You are part of this grand unfolding story of life. The stars will keep their watch, the earth will keep its rhythm, and you have only to drift. The night is yours. Sleep well. As we sit by the embers of our story, let us not rush to the end. Instead, let us turn our gaze toward the window. In the 19th century farmhouse, that pane of glass was the only thing separating the warmth of the hearth from the vast, mysterious, and untamed world that stretched out toward the horizon. Think of the frost that gathers on those small individual panes. It creates a barrier, yes, but it also creates a canvas. Sometimes, in the deepest part of the night, if you were to look through the clear spots in the glass, you wouldn't just see the darkness, you would see the movement of the night, perhaps the shadow of a deer moving silently through the orchard, or the way the moonlight transforms the barn into a ghostly silver structure. There is a profound, quiet curiosity in watching the night. It reminds us that while we are tucked away in our own small, safe circle of light, there is a much larger, wilder life continuing its own rhythm outside. The foxes are travelling their paths, the owls are keeping watch, and the trees are holding their breath under the weight of the stars. It is a comforting thought, isn't it, that while we rest, the world is still alive, balanced, and perfectly fine on its own. We have spent our time focusing on what we bring inside, the food, the tools, the warmth, but tonight let us acknowledge the beauty of what is outside. The way the wild earth breathes, the way the seasons move through the woods, and the way the land holds the memories of all who walked it before us. Let your breathing become as steady and rhythmic as the turning of the seasons. There is no need to close the book on this journey yet. There is so much more to see, more to listen for, and more to feel. For now, simply observe like a silent traveller watching from a window, the beauty of the world waiting for the dawn. You are safe in your shelter, and the night is full of quiet wonder. Now that we have rested by the hearth and gazed through the window at the quiet landscape, let us allow our minds to step out past the threshold, following the path that leads into the deep ancient woods surrounding the farmhouse. In the 1800s, the forest was not merely a source of timber or fuel, it was a living, breathing entity, a companion to those who lived on its edge. It held its own history, etched into the rough, furrowed bark of oaks that had stood for centuries, and in the slow, deliberate growth of ferns on the forest floor. Imagine walking along a narrow, leaf-strewn trail where the ground is soft and springy underfoot, dampened by the recent snows or the gentle, persistent rains of the season. The air here is different, it is cooler, richer, and carries the faint, nostalgic scent of damp earth, decaying wood, and the sharp, clean essence of pine needles. The silence here is not empty, it is a dense, layered sound. If you listen closely, you can hear the faint creak of branches swaying slowly in the night wind, a sound like an old wooden ship at sea, or the soft periodic patter of dew dripping from the canopy onto the blanket of moss below. This is a place where time loses its sharp, urgent edges in the forest. Nothing is in a hurry. The lichen grows by the millimetre, the roots expand with the slow, irresistible force of water, and the life cycle of the wood follows a tempo that is far older than any clock. For the people of that time, the forest was a place of reflection. To walk into the trees was to leave behind the pressures of the farm, the ticking of the clock, and the heavy expectations of the day. It was a space of absolute anonymity, where you were simply another heartbeat in the vast, interconnected network of the wild. As you lie in the quiet of your room, let your imagination roam freely within this forest. Feel the scale of the trees, their towering heights reaching up toward the velvet sky, their massive root systems anchoring them deep into the soil. Imagine the security of being surrounded by such ancient, steady life. You are not meant to master this forest, you are meant to be held by it. You are a part of this same rhythm, a thread in the same expansive tapestry. Let the image of the woods calm your mind, washing away the remnants of your daily worries. The forest is watching over you, keeping its secrets, breathing in the dark. There is no need for you to solve anything, to build anything, or to achieve anything tonight. You are free to wander, to observe, and to simply be tucked away in the deep protective embrace of the trees. The path is open, the air is still, and you are drifting further and further into a state of profound natural peace. Deeper still into the woods, past the thick groves of pine and the sprawling ancient oaks, we find the origin of life in this valley, a narrow, clear running stream that has been carving its way through the stone for thousands of years. In the 1800s, this water was the lifeblood of every farm along its banks. It was where the cattle drank, where the irrigation ditches were fed, and where, on hot summer afternoons, the sound of rushing water provided the only respite from the heavy heat. But tonight, in the cool blue silence of the night, we hear it differently. It is not a tool for survival, it is a melody. Listen closely to the way the water moves. It is a liquid language, constant and flowing. It chatters over smooth, river-worn pebbles. It pauses in deep, dark pools, and it hums as it slides over mossy rocks. It is the original lullaby, a sound that has been playing since the earth first formed, unbothered by the passing of empires, the invention of machines, or the frantic pace of human life. Imagine yourself sitting on the bank of this stream. The air is cool and damp, and the water reflects the faint shimmer of the starlight above, dancing with every ripple. When you look at the water, you see a perfect metaphor for the way you might choose to let your thoughts move tonight. Notice how the water does not fight the rocks in its path. It simply flows around them, adapting, changing shape, and continuing onward without a moment of hesitation. It does not cling to the past. It is always arriving in the present. If a worry arises in your mind, imagine picking it up like a smooth grey pebble and placing it into the current. Watch as the water catches it, smoothing its edges and carrying it gently downstream away from you, out of sight, into the vast, dark unknown. You do not need to hold on to it. You do not need to analyze it. You only need to observe the flow. The stream asks nothing of you. It simply offers its song, a rhythmic, hypnotic, and endlessly patient sound that cleanses the air and quietens the spirit. As your breathing synchronizes with the sound of the stream, feel your body becoming fluid, letting go of the rigid postures and tensions of the day. You're like the water, capable of navigating whatever path lies ahead, but perfectly content to simply be in motion, to be here, to be at peace. The night is deep, the woods are protective, and the water is guiding you toward a state of rest so profound that you might forget where the stream ends and your own dreams begin. Everything is moving, everything is flowing, and you are being carried safely along on the current of the night. Let us now emerge from the cool, shadowed sanctuary of the woods, stepping out onto the edge of the vast open meadows that roll toward the horizon. In the stillness of this hour, the landscape is transformed. The familiar day-lit fields are now bathed in the silver ethereal glow of a high, clear moon. There is no sharpness here, only soft contours, undulating waves of tall grass, and the vast, unobstructed depth of the night sky above. Stand for a moment in the centre of this expanse. The air is crisp and carries the faint, sweet scent of dried grasses and clover. There is a sense of immense space, a feeling that the world has opened up, shedding the walls of the farmhouse and the density of the forest to offer you something far more expansive, a sense of belonging to the infinite. In the 19th century, these meadows were the heart of the seasonal cycle, the place where the hay was mown, where the livestock grazed in the golden heat of summer, and where the horizon was the only limit to a person's gaze. But tonight, the meadow is a place of quiet contemplation. Imagine the way the moonlight catches the tops of the grasses, turning them into a shimmering sea of silver. When the wind moves across the field, it creates a sound like a long, slow sigh, a gentle, sweeping breath that ripples from one end of the valley to the other. It is the sound of the earth exhaling a slow and rhythmic release of all the energy it gathered during the day. It is the perfect natural counterpart to the way your own body is releasing tension, layer by layer, as you sink deeper into your bed. There is a profound beauty in being small within such a vast space. It reminds you that the worries you carry, the pressures, the deadlines, the small, sharp frictions of your life are but tiny specks in the grand unfolding tapestry of the night. Here, under the watchful ancient light of the stars and the moon, those worries lose their gravity. They drift away on the breeze, leaving you light, unburdened, and entirely present. As you lie here, imagine your own consciousness expanding to fill this field. Let your thoughts stretch out wide and boundless, like the landscape beneath the moon. Feel the cool air on your skin, the softness of the ground, and the immense comforting silence of the night. There is no end to this place, and there is no rush to leave it. You are simply drifting across this sea of silver grass, carried by the rhythm of the wind, cradled by the vastness of the world. Everything is calm, everything is balanced, and everything is waiting for you to simply close your eyes and let the stillness carry you into the deepest, most restorative sleep you have known. Now let your journey lead you away from the vastness of the moonlit meadows and back toward the shelter of the farmhouse. You pass through the familiar heavy door, feeling the sudden cozy shift in temperature as you enter the house. But instead of returning to the rooms you already know, let your mind drift upward, up the worn, creaking wooden stairs toward the attic. This is a place that many in the 1800s treated with a special kind of reverence, a quiet, dusty sanctuary where time seemed to hang suspended in the rafters. Imagine the attic as you ascend. The space is filled with the soft, filtered light of the moon coming through a small circular window. Everything here is draped in the gentle, protective mantle of memory. There are stacks of old wool blankets, chests filled with letters written in fading ink, and spinning wheels that have long since finished their task. The air here has a different quality. It is still, dry, and carries the faint, nostalgic scent of cedar, dried lavender, and the paper of old, forgotten books. In this space, you are truly alone, yet you are surrounded by the history of those who lived here before you. Think of the things they left behind, a quilt with intricate hand-stitched patterns, each stitch a mark of someone's patience, a wooden box containing dried flowers from a wedding bouquet 50 years past, a pair of spectacles resting on an open journal. These are not just objects, they are the anchors of human experience. They speak of lives lived, of joys remembered, and of the quiet, persistent effort to build something meaningful. As you stand amidst these treasures, feel the sense of profound peace that accompanies such a place. Here there is no sound from the outside world. The wind on the roof is muffled to a mere suggestion of a murmur. The cares of your own life, the lists, the expectations, the noise of your modern day feel very far away, tucked into a box of their own, waiting patiently for you to attend to them, if you ever choose to. But tonight you are not here to work, you are here to rest among the echoes of the past. Find a soft corner near the window, amidst the gentle clutter of history. Imagine yourself lying down on a pile of soft, thick quilts, feeling the weight of them pressing you gently, securely into the floorboards. The attic is a cocoon. It is a place where you are hidden away, safe from the turning of the world. Your breathing is slow, matching the stillness of the room. You are not searching for anything, and you are not missing anything. You are simply resting in the quiet, undisturbed accumulation of time. The house is sleeping, the attic is silent, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the soft, dark comfort of your own dreams. Let us drift down from the quiet sanctuary of the attic, moving back through the house until we reach the detached workshop, a space that in the 1800s was the heartbeat of a family's self-reliance. This is the realm of the woodworker, a place where the air is perpetually filled with the scent of pine shavings, sawdust, and the sharp, clean aroma of freshly cut heartwood. Even now, in the stillness of the night, you can almost hear the ghost of the day's work, the rhythmic scrape of a plane, the tap of a mallet, and the gentle sigh of a saw parting fibres of oak. Imagine the workbench itself. It is a massive, scarred thing, worn smooth by years of contact with hard-working hands. It holds its own story in its surface, a map of every chair, every cradle, and every table that was brought into existence here. To stand in this workshop is to understand the dignity of making. There is no haste in this room. Every piece of wood is studied, its grain followed, its strength respected. The process is a meditation of patience, a deliberate alignment of human intention with the natural architecture of the tree. Think of the tools hanging on the wall, the chisels with their worn wooden handles, the saws with their fine set teeth, the drills and the planes, all arranged with a precision that speaks of care. These tools were not just objects, they were extensions of the craftsman's own focus. They were cared for, sharpened, and kept in perfect order, ready for the moment they would be needed. This is a beautiful thought to hold as you prepare for sleep, that everything has its place and everything is in a state of readiness. Feel the stability of this room. Unlike the shifting, unpredictable nature of the world outside, the workshop is a place of absolute resolve. If a joint was loose, it was tightened. If a surface was rough, it was smoothed. Everything was brought into harmony. As you lie here, imagine your own mind becoming like this workshop. You are the craftsman of your own piece. Any rough edge of your day can be smoothed away. Any loose thought can be held steady, secured, and placed in its proper, quiet space. There is a deep, grounding comfort in this imagery. You are surrounded by the evidence of work completed, of wood shaped, and of stability built to last. The workshop is silent now, bathed in the soft blue light of the night, but it holds the energy of creation. Let that energy settle around you like a warm, protective mantle. You have built a day of substance, and now, like the tools hanging in their orderly rows, you can rest. Your hands are still, your thoughts are quiet, and the world is holding you in a gentle, rhythmic embrace as you drift toward the edge of sleep. As we step out from the quiet workshop, let us walk slowly toward the small, fenced garden tucked against the southern side of the house. In the 1800s, this was not just a patch of soil, it was the home's medicine chest, a collection of herbs grown with intention and gathered with gratitude. Even in the dead of night, the air here is heavy and sweet with the concentrated essence of sage, rosemary, thyme, and lavender. It is a fragrance that seems to speak directly to the weary heart, a scent that signals rest and recovery. Imagine the moonlight illuminating the silver-green leaves of the sage, each one dusted with tiny crystalline hairs that catch the light like fallen stars. These plants are the keepers of comfort. Throughout the year, they were harvested, each sprig tied with twine and hung to dry in the warm, dark rafters, to become the tea that soothed a fevered brow, the poultice that eased a tired muscle, or the simple aromatic bundle tucked into a pillowcase to bring sweet dreams to a restless child. They represent the ultimate act of care, the belief that nature provides exactly what is needed if only we take the time to notice. There is something profoundly calming about the way these plants grow. They are resilient, unfussy, and deeply connected to the cycles of the sun and the earth. They do not strive to be anything other than what they are. They simply offer their leaves, their flowers, and their healing oils in a silent, generous rhythm. As you stand among them, let that same simplicity enter your own being. Let go of the desire to be more than you are, to do more than you have, or to carry more than you can hold. You are exactly enough. Think of the patience required to cultivate such a garden. It requires clearing the stones, preparing the soil, sowing the seeds, and waiting, always waiting for the right time to harvest. This is the same patience you're practicing right now, by choosing to be here, by choosing to let your mind slow down to the pace of this night. You are cultivating your own internal garden. You are clearing away the stones of stress and preparing the soil of your mind for the deep, restorative rest that is coming. Feel the cool, clean air filling your lungs, carrying the faint, soothing perfume of the herbs. It is a clean, honest scent, free from the distractions of the modern world. Let it wash over you, clearing the last remnants of the day from your consciousness. You are safe here, among the quiet, healing spirits of the garden. The world is soft, the stars are watching, and the earth is beneath you, ready to take your weight. Everything is slowing down, settling into the gentle, fragrant silence of the night. You are drifting into a sleep as natural, as easy, and as deep as the roots that hold these plants to the earth. Let us step back into the house, moving softly through the dim, familiar hallway toward the living room where an old grandfather clock stands guard in the corner. In the 1800s, this clock was more than a mere instrument for tracking minutes. It was the heartbeat of the home, a steady, rhythmic presence that grounded the family in the continuity of their lives. Even now, in the stillness of the night, its pendulum swings with a slow, deliberate gravity, a deep, resonant tick-tock that seems to measure the very pulse of the darkness. Listen to that sound tick. A moment passes, and it is gone forever. Tock. A new moment arrives, fresh and full of quiet potential. There is no urgency in this sound. There is no anxiety about the future or regret for what has passed. The clock simply acknowledges the steady, unstoppable flow of time, and in doing so it offers a strange, deep sense of comfort. It reminds us that time is not something to be raced against or conquered. It is a vessel, a vast and gentle container that holds us all, from the first breath of the morning to the final, peaceful descent into sleep. Imagine the craftsmanship that went into such a mechanism, the intricate arrangement of brass gears, the tension of the weights, the perfect calibration of the swing. Each part has its role, working in perfect silent cooperation to mark the passage of hours. This is the order of the universe, mirrored in the quiet room. As you lie here, listen to your own breathing and see if you can match its rhythm to the pendulum. Let your inhales be the tick, slow and steady, and your exhales be the tock, long and deep, releasing everything that no longer needs to be held. Think of the generations who stood before this same clock, listening to the same steady rhythm. They listened to it while they waited for loved ones to return home, while they sat in quiet reflection after a long day's labour, and while they drifted into sleep on cold winter nights. They found comfort in that sound, just as you are finding it now. It is a link across the centuries, a shared experience of the quiet that comes when the work is set aside and the day is done. There is no pressure to move, no reason to hurry toward the morning. The clock will keep its watch, measuring the night with a steady, impartial hand. You have time. You have the stillness of the house, the rhythm of the pendulum, and the profound heavy softness of your bed. Let the tick-tock become the only sound in your world, a hypnotic lullaby that guides you further away from the surface of consciousness and deeper into the quiet, dark waters of rest. Everything is in motion, everything is in time, and you are perfectly, beautifully at peace. As the grandfather clock continues its steady, rhythmic pulse in the hallway, let us focus our attention on the small, hidden mahogany desk tucked into the quietest corner of the study. In the 1800s, this desk was not just a piece of furniture, it was a sanctuary for the soul. a place where the deepest emotions of life were committed to paper. Inside one of its shallow velvet-lined drawers lies a stack of letters, tied neatly with a fraying silk ribbon, correspondence from a time when words were chosen with immense care and written with a slow, deliberate hand. Imagine the atmosphere in the room as these letters were written. The only illumination was the soft glow of a lantern, casting long, gentle shadows against the walls. The writer was not worried about the speed of delivery or the immediate response of the world. They were focused entirely on the act of connection, the desire to share a thought, to express affection, or to recount the small, beautiful details of a day spent tending to the garden or mending the hearth. Each word was an anchor, a way of reaching across distances to say, "I am here and I'm thinking of you." There is a profound, quiet beauty in these artifacts of human connection. When you think of those letters, realize that the emotions they held, the hope, the gratitude, the gentle longing, are still present in the world. They are the invisible threads that weave us together across the expanse of time. The paper may have yellowed and the ink may have faded, but the human desire to be known and to be cared for remains constant and bright. As you lie here, allow yourself to feel that same sense of connection. You are part of this long, unbroken lineage of people who have found comfort in expressing their inner lives. You have your own story, your own joys, and your own memories. Let them be like these letters, safe, cherished, and tucked away in the quiet, secure drawer of your own mind. You do not need to carry them all tonight. You do not need to read them or worry over them. They are simply there, a testament to the fact that you are loved, that you are remembered, and that your own experiences have a place in the tapestry of the world. Feel the heavy, comforting silence of the room surrounding you, much like the stillness that surrounded the desk in the lantern light. The world is at peace, the letters are resting, and your own thoughts are becoming as soft and blurred as the edges of an old page. There is nothing more to do but to let go. You are safe in this quiet space, and you are free to drift, carried by the gentle, lingering warmth of those ancient, unspoken words of love and peace. Let us wander away from the warmth of the house, beyond the garden and the woods, until we reach the edge of a quiet, secluded lake that lies nestled like a jewel in the valley. In the 19th century, this lake was a place of reflection in the most literal sense. On evenings such as this, when the wind has completely died away, the surface of the water becomes a perfect mirror, capturing the sky, the stars, and the dark silhouettes of the surrounding trees with absolute clarity. Stand at the water's edge and look out across the expanse. The surface is so still that it is difficult to tell where the earth ends and the heavens begin. Everything is doubled, everything is balanced. It is a scene of profound harmony. When you look at this, feel the same stillness settling within your own consciousness. Your thoughts, which may have been swirling or scattered throughout the day, are now slowing, smoothing out, and becoming as calm and clear as this dark, undisturbed water. There is a deep, ancient wisdom in the lake. It has seen the changing of the seasons for ages, and it has remained unruffled through it all. It knows that storms come, and it knows that storms pass, but the depth of the water remains stable and profound. As you stand here in your mind, imagine releasing the ripples of your daily life, the minor frustrations, the lingering questions, the small sharp edges of your to-do lists. Imagine them dissolving into the vast dark water, leaving no trace behind. You are becoming like the lake, expansive, receptive, and profoundly at peace. Think of the life moving silently beneath the surface, the slow rhythmic drift of the fish, the gentle anchoring of the water lilies in the soft silt of the bottom. Life here is not frantic, it is steady, patient, and entirely contained. This is the quality of existence you are stepping into tonight. You are held by the same stillness that holds the lake. You are not required to be active, to be productive, or to be on. You are only required to be present, to exist, and to breathe in the coolness of the night. As you lie in your bed, let your entire body become as heavy and as still as the water in the center of the lake. Feel the coolness of the night air, the safety of your surroundings, and the vast infinite calm of the sky reflected above. There is no distance between you and this peace. You are not watching it from afar, you are integrated into it. The world is resting, the water is silent, and you are drifting further into the deep, dark, and beautiful embrace of a night that knows only rest. You are sinking, gently and effortlessly, into the heart of the quiet. Now, let us leave the cool reflection of the lake and find ourselves within the walls of a small private library in the 1800s. This was a sacred space, not of noise but of profound intellectual silence. Imagine walls lined from floor to ceiling with leather-bound books, their spines embossed with gold that catches the dim light of a single flickering candle. The air here is heavy with the scent of old paper, binding glue, and the lingering sweet aroma of pipe tobacco, creating a thick atmosphere of history and stability. There is a unique kind of peace to be found in a room filled with books. It is the realization that everything you are experiencing, every joy, every uncertainty, every quiet moment of contemplation has been felt and recorded by someone else before you. You are part of a long conversation that has spanned centuries. When you see these books, you're not seeing mere paper. You are seeing the stored thoughts of lives lived, wisdom gathered, and stories whispered into the dark. It is a deeply grounding thought. You are not alone in your journey. Imagine pulling one of these books from the shelf. The leather is cool and smooth beneath your fingertips. As you open it, the pages, yellowed at the edges, soft as fabric, reveal a script written with care, or perhaps the sturdy, reliable print of an old press. You don't need to read the words to feel their weight. You only need to feel the presence of the knowledge they contain. This room is a fortress against the chaos of the outside world. Here, the only thing that matters is the quiet, steady pursuit of understanding and the comfort of a well-told story. As you lie here, let your own mind become like this library. Let your thoughts be the books, neatly organized, safely tucked away on their shelves. You don't need to pull them down tonight. You don't need to study them, analyze them, or worry about them. They are already there, preserved and secure. You have done the work of gathering your experiences, and now you can leave them in the care of the room. The library is closed for the night. The candles are burning low, and the wisdom of the ages is watching over you as you rest. Feel the weight of the silence here. It is a thick, velvet silence that presses gently against your skin, reassuring you that there is nothing to be done until the sun returns. You are surrounded by the legacy of human thought, and it is a peaceful, orderly existence. Your breathing is slow and rhythmic, matching the slow, steady pulse of a sleeping house. You are safe, you are grounded, and you are drifting deeper into the quiet, deeper into the dark, and deeper into the most restorative sleep you have ever known. The story continues, but for now, the book is closed. We leave the quiet library, our minds filled with the weight of ancient words, and step into a different kind of sanctuary, the village potter's studio in the 1800s. This was a place that demanded a rhythm unlike any other. It was a space defined by the slow circular motion of the wheel and the long deep endurance of the kiln. Even now, at this hour, the air still holds the subtle earthy scent of damp clay, of fire-hardened dust, and of the cool, mineral-rich earth that forms the foundation of all these creations. Imagine the potter's kiln. It is a massive structure of brick and iron, currently holding a quiet, smouldering heat. The work has been done, the pots were thrown, dried, and placed inside. Now it is simply a matter of waiting. There is no rushing the process. If the fire burns too hot, the clay will crack. If it burns too cool, the glaze will not set. Everything relies on the slow, invisible transformation that happens within the dark, protected heart of the furnace. It is a masterclass in the art of letting go. This is a powerful image for your own state of rest tonight. Consider how much of your own life is like this kiln. You have done the work, you have shaped your intentions, and you have put in the effort. But now you must trust the process. You must allow yourself to step back and let the stillness do its work. There is a deep, primal comfort in knowing that you do not need to constantly push, constantly change, or constantly monitor the results. The fire of the universe, the steady passage of the night, is doing the work for you. As you lie here, feel the gentle, radiating warmth of that metaphorical kiln. It is a heat that does not burn, but rather cradles, wrapping around your body and soothing every muscle. Think of the clay, pliable, soft and receptive, becoming strong, durable and refined through the simple act of staying put and being still. That is what you are doing tonight. You are allowing yourself to be refined, to be rested, and to be made whole simply by yielding to the stillness. The studio is silent, save for the faint, rhythmic settling of cooling bricks and the distant low hum of the night wind against the stone walls. It is a space of perfect, uncomplicated focus. Your thoughts are settling like the cool ash on the floor. Your breath is steady, unforced, and entirely natural. You are safe in the potter's studio, surrounded by the promise of something beautiful and finished. Let go of the need to oversee the results. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The night is deep, the kiln is steady, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the quiet, transformative power of your own sleep. We step out from the potter's studio, leaving the warmth of the kiln behind, and find ourselves at the base of the rolling hill that overlooks the entire valley. A narrow, well-trodden path wends its way up through the tall golden grasses, disappearing into the soft shadows of the crest. In the 1800s, this path was more than a way to reach the high ground. It was a connection, a line drawn across the landscape that linked the farm to the wider world, and the earth to the sky. Imagine walking this path under the gentle guidance of the moonlight. The ground is firm beneath your feet, and with every step you take, the perspective of the world shifts. You are not just in one place anymore, you are observing the valley as a whole. You see the faint flickering lights of the homesteads far below, the winding silver ribbon of the stream we visited before, and the dark, comforting quilt of the forest. Everything is interconnected. Everything is part of a singular, vast and harmonious whole. There is a profound sense of perspective here that you cannot find in the lowlands. When you stand on the slope of a hill, looking out across the expanse, the things that seemed large and overwhelming just a few hours ago, the demands of the day, the noise of the world, the small worries that tug at the sleeve of your mind, now seem very quiet and distant. They are just details in a much larger, calmer picture. You are standing above the rush of life, held in the quiet, expansive embrace of the night. Think of the generations who walked this very path before you. Perhaps they came here to watch the sun rise, or to find a moment of solitude when the weight of their duties felt too heavy. They stood where you are standing now, feeling the same cool breeze on their faces, watching the same stars wheel slowly across the velvet dark. You are following in their footsteps, walking the same ancient steady rhythm of the land. It is a comforting realization that you are never truly alone in your journey. You are part of a long, unfolding line of travelers, all seeking the same quiet, all finding rest in the same vast, beautiful world. As you lie here, imagine yourself walking this path in your mind. Feel the gentle effort of the climb, the steady rhythm of your breathing, and the increasing sense of space and freedom with every step. When you reach the crest of the hill, stop for a moment. Look out across the horizon where the earth meets the sky in a soft, dark blur. Feel the weight of the world lifting from your shoulders. You are free, you are elevated, you are perfectly in tune with the night. Let your thoughts drift out over the valley, wide and boundless, until they merge with the stillness of the horizon. You are floating, drifting, and letting go, carried safely by the night toward a horizon of deep, peaceful, and endless sleep. From the crest of the hill, we look further along the ridge to see the silhouette of a windmill, its large wooden sails standing motionless against the backdrop of the star-filled sky. In the 19th century, these structures were not merely machines. They were sentinels of the landscape, harnessing the invisible power of the air to provide for the community. Even in the profound stillness of this night, when the sails are locked in place and the gears are resting, There is a lingering sense of immense, harnessed energy. Imagine standing at the base of this massive wooden tower. The structure is built of sturdy, weathered oak that has endured countless storms and seasons. It feels solid, dependable, and deeply rooted in the earth. The air around it is crisp, moving with a gentle, whispering breeze that travels across the ridge, carrying the scent of wild thyme and cool stone. It is a place where the air itself feels alive, not in a frantic, hurried way, but with a slow, sweeping intensity that reminds us of the vastness of the atmosphere. Consider the wisdom of the windmill. It does not try to create its own power. It waits, it positions itself, and it allows the wind to do the work. It is a master of patience and alignment. As you lie here, allow yourself to be like the windmill. Stop trying to generate your own force. Stop trying to push against the currents of your life. Instead, find your position, breathe into the stillness, and allow the natural rhythm of the night to carry you. You are part of a larger mechanism, the cycle of the day, the turn of the earth, the flow of the air, and you are held safely within it. Think of the internal gears of the windmill, the heavy iron-bound cogs, the greased shafts, the intricate mechanisms that have been silent for centuries. They are built for purpose, yet they have their times of rest. They wait in the dark, confident in their ability to serve when the wind returns. Your mind is much like this. You have your purpose, you have your strength, and you have your capacity to move. But tonight, your purpose is simply to be still. The wind has quieted, the work is done, and you are in the restful state of readiness. Feel your body becoming heavy and grounded, just like the stone foundation of the windmill. Feel the vast open space around you, with nothing but the sky above and the steady earth beneath. The silence is deep, punctuated only by the occasional soft creak of timber settling in the cool night air. A sound that is reassuring, solid, and safe. You are drifting slowly and surely into a space where the wind of your thoughts has completely died away, leaving you in a perfect calm and unshakable stillness. The night is yours, the horizon is wide, and you are descending into the deepest, most quiet sleep, anchored by the strength of the land. Following the gentle slope downward from the windmill, we find ourselves at the edge of a quiet, sheltered harbour where the river widens before it meets the sea. In the 1800s, this was a place of departure and arrival, a bustling site of commerce and journeying, but tonight the activity has ceased. The wooden piers are empty, and the row of small sturdy fishing boats is moored securely, bobbing with an almost imperceptible rhythm against the ancient barnacle-crusted pilings. The water here is ink-black and smooth, reflecting the pale silver glow of the moonlight like a dark mirror. Listen to the sound of the river. It is a low, rhythmic lap-lap-lap against the hulls of the boats. It is a slow, hypnotic sound, the heartbeat of the tide, rising and falling in perfect, timeless order. Each gentle movement of the boats is a reminder that even when we are anchored, we are still part of the greater movement of the world. We are held, we are supported, and we are safe. Imagine yourself stepping onto one of these boats, feeling the solid deck beneath your feet. There is a profound sense of security in the way the rope holds the boat to the dock. It is a connection that allows for freedom, yet guarantees safety. This is how you are held by the night tonight. You are tethered to the shore, anchored by the quiet of the house, the stillness of your bed, and the steady rhythm of your own breathing. You do not need to drift away into the unknown. You have a place to rest, and you have the strength of your own calm to hold you fast. Think of the journeys these boats have taken. They have navigated the currents, they have faced the winds, and they have carried their burdens through the grey light of dawn and the heat of the afternoon. But now they have returned to the harbour. They are resting. Their sails are furled. Their anchors are deep, and they are allowed to simply exist in the stillness. You too have travelled through your day. You have navigated your own currents and carried your own burdens. Now you have reached your own harbour. It is time to drop your anchor. Feel your muscles unravel, loosening their grip just as the ropes slacken in the quiet of the harbour. The world is soft, the water is dark, and the sky is infinite above you. There is a beautiful, heavy peace that comes with knowing you have arrived where you need to be. The river will continue to flow, and the tide will continue to turn, but you are not required to follow it tonight. You are at rest, tucked safely in the harbour of your own mind. Everything is quiet, everything is still, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the soft, cradling depths of your sleep. As we drift away from the sheltered harbour, let us gaze out toward the dark, turbulent edge of the horizon where the sea meets the rocky cliffs. There, standing firm against the vastness of the ocean, is an old stone lighthouse. In the 1800s, this beacon was the ultimate symbol of hope and safety. Its thick, whitewashed walls have braved 1,000 storms, and its light has guided countless travellers home, cutting through the thickest fog and the darkest nights with a steady, revolving beam. Imagine the interior of this lighthouse. It is a spiral of cold, solid stone, winding upward toward the lantern room. But tonight, the atmosphere is not one of alert intensity. It is one of quiet, watchful peace. The light itself is rotating slowly, a rhythmic sweep of warm, golden glow that washes over the dark water. It is a deliberate, calming motion, a pulse of light that says everything is visible, everything is accounted for, and you are being watched over. There is a profound comfort in the idea of being guided. Think of the lighthouse as the protector of your own peace of mind. Whatever storms you may have encountered during your day, whatever shadows may have seemed daunting, you are now under the gaze of this steady light. It does not judge, it only illuminates. It provides a constant, reassuring presence that reminds you that you are never truly lost, even in the deepest hours of the night. As you lie here, feel the sensation of being bathed in that warm, rotating beam. Imagine it moving slowly, slowly across your awareness, turning away the remnants of stress and turning toward you a sense of clarity and safety. With every rotation, you feel more relaxed. With every sweep of the light, the edges of your thoughts become softer, more blurred, and easier to let go. You are safe. The lighthouse is standing firm on the rocks, and you are nestled in the secure, quiet sanctuary of your own home. Think of the lighthouse keeper, a figure from another time, whose duty it was to ensure the light never failed. That same dedication is present in your own subconscious tonight. You have done the work of keeping your internal light burning, and now you have earned the right to rest while the beacon keeps watch for you. You do not need to stay alert, you do not need to navigate, you only need to surrender to the rhythm of the light. The ocean is vast, the night is deep, and the beacon is steady, turning, 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 lulling you into a state of profound, absolute surrender as you drift deeper into the sanctuary of sleep. From the lighthouse, our journey leads us back to the heart of the valley, where an old stone bridge spans the river. In the 1800s, this bridge was a meeting point for travellers, a place where paths crossed, where stories were exchanged, and where people took a moment to look down at the water flowing steadily toward the sea. The stones are weathered, covered in patches of soft green moss that glows faintly in the moonlight, and the arch of the bridge is perfect, timeless and strong. Imagine standing in the centre of this bridge. Beneath you, the water moves with a gentle, hushed sound, carrying away the last echoes of the day. To your left, the path you travelled through the woods and the meadows. To your right, the path leading toward your home. There is a profound sense of balance here. You are suspended between where you have been and where you are going, but in this moment you are simply standing on solid ground, held by the strength of the stone and the quiet of the night. Think of the bridge as a transition, a way to move from the noise of the active world into the deep, silent realm of dreams. As you walk slowly across it, feel your body becoming lighter. The heavy shoes of your daily responsibilities fall away. The weight of your expectations dissolves into the cool night air. Each step you take is a deliberate letting go. You are moving from the landscape of the awake into the vast, soft geography of the dream world. Feel the cool, smooth texture of the stone beneath your hand as you trail it along the low parapet of the bridge. The stone is ancient, patient, and unwavering. It has seen the seasons change, the stars rise and fall, and the river swell and shrink, yet it remains, a silent witness to the beauty of life's persistence. Let that stability enter your own spirit. You do not need to hurry, you do not need to achieve, you have already done enough. The bridge is here to support you, to carry you safely from the day into the night. As you reach the far side of the bridge, you realize that you have left nothing behind that matters. Everything you carry is within you. Your peace, your memories, your quiet strength. The air is soft and still. The stars are watching over the arch of the bridge, and the path ahead is short and gentle, leading directly to the comfort of your bed. Your breathing is slow, your heart is steady, and your mind is ready to surrender. You are drifting, crossing the final threshold into the deep, dark and beautiful silence of sleep. Now, your journey has brought you full circle, back to the sanctuary of your own room. You stand for a moment by the window, looking out into the garden where the moon casts a silvery dreamlike light over the roses. In the 1800s, these flowers were cherished for their resilience and their beauty, and even tonight they are tucked safely away in the cool night air. The petals, once open and vibrant in the sun, are now gently furled, resting against one another in a delicate, hushed embrace. There is something deeply reassuring about the way nature goes to sleep. The flowers do not fight the darkness. They fold inward, conserving their energy, protecting their centers, and trusting that the light will return in the morning. They are a reflection of what you are doing right now. You are folding inward, retreating from the external world and allowing yourself to be cradled by the protective silence of the night. You have given your beauty and your efforts to the day, and now it is time for you to fold your petals and rest. Feel the cool, clean air drifting through the slightly open window. It carries the faint, sweet perfume of the damp earth and the lingering, soft scent of the garden. It is a breath of peace, filling your room and settling over everything like a soft, invisible blanket. The world outside is quiet. No movement, no haste, only the steady, patient unfolding of the night. The stars are distant and bright, keeping watch over the sleeping garden, and you are part of this grand, peaceful design. Think of how much you have accomplished by simply being present today. You have moved through the hours, you have handled the tasks, and you have remained true to yourself. There is no need to hold on to anything else. The worries of the day, the lists of what remains to be done, the small pressures, they are all outside in the garden, and they are fading into the shadows. They no longer have any claim on you. Your only task now is to let go, to slide into the warmth of your covers, and to trust that all is well. As you turn away from the window and move toward your bed, feel your limbs growing heavy, relaxed, and perfectly at ease. The room is quiet, the shadows are soft, and the sense of safety is absolute. You are sheltered, you are tucked away, and you are ready to slip beneath the surface of consciousness. The garden is sleeping, the house is still, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the velvet silence of the night. You are entering the most restorative, quiet and beautiful sleep you have ever known. You have returned to the heart of the home, settling into the armchair by the fireplace where the day began. In the 1800s, the evening fire was the final ritual of existence, a slow, hypnotic process of the flames fading until only a warm, pulsating bed of embers remained. Look at the fireplace now. The wood has burned down to a deep, glowing crimson, casting a soft, flickering light that dances gently against the walls, creating an atmosphere of absolute, enveloping comfort. Listen to the sound of the embers. There is an occasional tiny pop or a soft, sighing hiss as a piece of charcoal shifts and settles into place. It is a sound of completion. There is no more fuel to be added, no more work to be done. The fire has given all its warmth to the room, and now it is simply enjoying its own quiet glow. As you watch the embers pulse, think of your own energy. You have spent your light, you have shared your warmth, and you have completed your day. You have nothing left to give, and that is perfectly, wonderfully okay. Feel the heavy, radiant heat still clinging to the stones of the hearth. It is a heat that reaches deep into your bones, melting away the last remnants of tension. Every muscle in your body, from your shoulders down to your feet, is becoming as loose and heavy as the cooling ash. You are drifting into the same state as the fire, a place of stillness, a place of peace, a place where the need for activity has completely dissolved. Think of how the embers hold their heat even after the flames are gone. That is the essence of your day. The memories, the accomplishments, the quiet moments you have collected, they are all held within you, a warm internal glow that stays with you even as you drift into sleep. You don't need to hold on to the specific details. The feeling of having lived, of having been present, is enough. Let the fire go out, let the room dim, let the darkness come in, not as something to fear, but as a soft, protective blanket that invites you to close your eyes. The house is silent now. Even the grandfather clock seems to tick with a softer, slower rhythm. You are safe. You are warm. You are finished. There is no tomorrow to worry about just yet, and there is no yesterday to rewrite. There is only the darkness, the gentle heat of the hearth, and the deep, heavy and beautiful descent into sleep. The embers are fading to grey. The room is settling into shadows, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the infinite, quiet peace of the night. The embers have faded to a soft, pulsating glow, and the room has settled into a profound velvet silence. It is time to leave the hearth and move toward the bed, the final destination of your journey tonight. In the 1800s, there was no greater luxury at the end of a long day than the weight and warmth of a thick, quilted bedspread. Imagine pulling that heavy, soft fabric up to your chin, feeling the crisp, cool sheets against your skin, and the gentle, comforting pressure of the blankets holding you down, securely and safely. There is a unique stillness that comes when you finally lie down. The world outside the window, the garden, the woods, the lake, the lighthouse, they are all still there, but they are no longer your concern. They are resting just as you are. The wind may whisper against the eaves, and the stars may wheel slowly through the dark expanse of the sky, but you are tucked away, sheltered from the vastness of the universe by the walls of this house and the warmth of your own bed. Feel your body sinking into the mattress. It is as if you are being held by the earth itself, supported and cradled. Every point of contact between you and the bed is a point of release. Your heels, your calves, your hips, your shoulders, the back of your head, let them all go. With every breath you become heavier, softer, and more deeply connected to the peace of the night. You are not holding on to anything anymore. The day has been laid down, the tasks are complete, and the transition is total. Think of the darkness in the room. It is not empty. It is full of the quiet you have cultivated throughout this long, winding journey. It is a soft, protective darkness that wraps around you, shielding your eyes and calming your mind. Let your thoughts slow down to match the steady, rhythmic pace of your own breathing. Inhale the stillness. Exhale the last faint echo of the day. Inhale the safety. Exhale the need to be, to do, or to know. You are entering the final stage of your journey. The distance between where you are now and the deep restorative waters of sleep is thinning until it is no more. You are drifting, floating on a sea of quiet. The house is sleeping, the world is sleeping, and you are finally, beautifully, completely at rest. Let the silence be your guide. Let the darkness be your embrace. You are safe. You are held, and you are falling deeper, deeper into the infinite gentle night. As you drift into that soft, suspended space between waking and sleep, let your mind wander beyond the walls of the house, out to the vast rolling fields of wheat that surround the homestead. In the 19th century, these fields were the symbol of a life well lived, a testament to patience, to the cycle of the seasons, and to the quiet, tireless work of the earth. Now, under the silver glow of the moon, the wheat stands tall and still, a golden sea frozen in the quiet of the night. Imagine yourself walking along the edge of this field. The air is cool and carries the dry, earthy scent of ripened stalks. With every slow, deliberate step you take, you feel a sense of abundance. You have spent your day planting your intentions, tending to your thoughts, and growing your experiences. This field is the manifestation of that effort. It is ripe, it is full, and it is ready to be harvested, not with labor, but with the simple act of gratitude and release. There is a profound hypnotic rhythm to the way the moonbeams play across the tops of the wheat. It is a gentle, shimmering motion, like the slow breathing of the earth itself. As you watch, feel your own breathing sync with that rhythm. Each inhale gathers in the quiet of the night, and each exhale releases the last, tiny fragments of your daily work. You are harvesting the peace of the day, gathering it into your mind to keep you safe and warm through the long restorative hours of the night. Think of the harvest as the ultimate act of completion. The work of the year is done, the seeds have grown, the sun has done its part, and now there is only the rest that follows the harvest. It is a time for the land to lie fallow, to be silent, and to be replenished. You are in that same season now. You do not need to be productive. You do not need to be ready for the next day. You only need to be still, to exist in the abundance of this moment, and to let the peace of the field fill your spirit. Feel the heavy, comforting weight of the night pressing against your skin, like a warm quilt made of the quietest dreams. The field is silent, the sky is vast, and you are part of this landscape of rest. There is nothing more to do, nowhere else to be, and nothing to worry about. You are drifting deeper, deeper, into the golden moonlit peace of the harvest. Everything is gathered, everything is finished, and you are ready to slip into the deepest, most natural sleep you have ever known. Let us drift away from the quiet field and find ourselves standing on a small, gravel-covered platform near a railway line. In the 19th century, the steam engine was a marvel of the age, a symbol of progress and connection. But tonight, there is no noise of industry, no whistle and no smoke. There is only the gentle, rhythmic hum of a long, slow train of wooden carriages moving through the dark, rolling landscape, carrying nothing but the quiet of the night. Imagine these carriages as vessels for your thoughts. They are built of sturdy, polished oak, their wheels rolling with a soft, steady click-clack that echoes the heartbeat of the grandfather clock we visited so long ago. Each carriage is a space where you can place a concern, a lingering memory, or a task for tomorrow as they pass before you. One by one, watch them glide smoothly along the rails, carrying your thoughts away from you, further and further into the soft velvet dark. There is no need to chase them. There is no need to hold on. You are not the traveller. You are the observer. You are standing perfectly still on the platform, watching the rhythm of the journey unfold. With every passing carriage, you feel lighter. With every rhythmic click-clack, the boundaries of your day are dissolving. You are becoming as still as the station, as quiet as the night air, and as unburdened as the empty passing train. Think of the journey the train is on, a path laid long ago, winding through hills and valleys, under the light of 1,000,000 stars. It does not worry about the destination. It simply follows the track, trusting the iron, trusting the earth, and moving with the graceful momentum of the night. This is your journey now. You are following the path of sleep, a track that has been laid for you by the very nature of existence. It is safe, it is steady, and it is carrying you exactly where you need to be. As you lie here, let your body mimic the soft, swaying motion of the train. Feel yourself rocking gently left to right, front to back, like a sleeper in a velvet-lined cabin. The world outside is passing by, a blurred landscape of dreams and shadows, but you are tucked inside, secure and peaceful. The train is moving, the night is deep, and the rhythm is lulling you into a state of profound, absolute stillness. You are drifting, deeper, deeper, further away from the station of the day, and into the silent, restorative landscape of sleep. We leave the train behind and follow the sound of soft, bubbling water to a secluded stream, where a massive wooden water wheel stands, partially submerged in the dark, cool flow. In the 19th century, this wheel was a master of efficiency, turning the millstones within with a steady, relentless purpose. But tonight, it is not grinding grain. It is simply turning, driven by the ceaseless, gentle energy of the stream, serving as a monument to the beauty of rhythmic, natural motion. Look at the way the water spills over the edge of the paddles, a constant, liquid curtain that creates a soft, muffled sound of rushing bubbles. It is a sound that does not demand your attention, it invites you to dissolve into it. The wood of the wheel is slick and dark, polished by years of water and moss. It moves with a slow, heavy grace, turning once, then again, then again. It is a cycle that has continued for generations, untroubled by the passage of time. Imagine your own mind as this water wheel for the hours of your day. Your thoughts have been moving, turning, and working, but now they are no longer grinding any task. They are simply turning, moving with the stream of the night. You are not required to produce anything, to resolve anything, or to change anything. You are just allowing yourself to be moved by the soft, dark current of the night air and the deep, silent rhythms of the world. There is a deep comfort in this repetition. Feel the sensation of the wheel turning in your mind, a slow, steady, circular movement that smooths out the jagged edges of your thoughts. It is like the swing of a pendulum or the rise and fall of the tide. Everything is settling. Everything is finding its place. The water that passes the wheel now is not the water that was here a moment ago, just as the worries you had earlier are being washed away, replaced by the cool, fresh calm of the present moment. As you lie here, let your body become heavy. Anchored like the axle of the wheel, the water flows around you, taking away any remaining tension, carrying it down the stream toward the sea. You are centered, you are aligned. The sound of the water is becoming a low melodic hum that vibrates softly in the room, wrapping around you like a cocoon. You are safe in the flow. The wheel turns, the night deepens, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the liquid silence of the dream state, where every breath is a ripple of peace in the dark, beautiful waters of sleep. We leave the stream and step into the quiet, glass-walled sanctuary of the garden's conservatory. In the 19th century, this was a place where delicate things were protected from the harshness of the world outside. The glass panes are cool to the touch, and the air inside is still, holding a soft, humid warmth that smells faintly of potting soil, damp fern leaves, and the promise of new life. Outside the world is dark and vast, but in here everything is contained, nurtured, and held in a state of suspended growth. Imagine the rows of terracotta pots, each one cradling a life that is currently resting. The plants do not rush to grow, they understand the wisdom of the night. They are folding their leaves, conserving their moisture, and turning their energy inward, deep into their roots, where the real work happens in the quiet. This is exactly what you're doing tonight. You are not losing time, you are gathering your strength. You are tending to your roots, allowing your inner self to be refreshed by the silence of the conservatory. Feel the stillness of the glass walls. They create a barrier between you and the worries of the outside world. Whatever happened today, whatever remains to be done tomorrow, it is all locked outside. Here, there is only the soft, rhythmic drip of condensation from the glass, plink, 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 a slow, hypnotic beat that counts down the moments until you are completely asleep. It is a sound of gentle, consistent presence, reminding you that you are alive, you are safe, and you are being cared for by the simple, steady order of nature. Think of how much you have grown today. You have stretched toward the light. You have weathered the winds of activity, and you have survived the intensity of your own expectations. Now you're in the greenhouse. You're allowed to be vulnerable, to be soft, and to let your guard down. You do not need to be strong or upright right now. You can simply exist in this warm, humid, and nurturing space. Your mind is quiet, your heart is slow, and your entire body is settling into the soft, dark earth of your own relaxation. As you lie here, imagine the moonlight filtering through the glass, casting long, elegant shadows of leaves across your room. These shadows are moving with the wind, a slow, gentle dance that lulls you further into your rest. You are a seedling in the night, safe in the soil, waiting for the gentle cycles of the world to renew you. The conservatory is silent, the night is deep, and you're drifting deeper, deeper into the soft, fertile quiet of your own subconscious, where every dream is a new sprout, and every breath is a steady, gentle rain. We step out of the conservatory and back into the quiet, wooden-panelled hall of the house, where the gentle, rhythmic ticking of a grand floor-standing clock fills the air. In the 1800s, this was the heartbeat of the home, a steady, unwavering sound that reminded everyone that time was moving, but that there was no need to rush. It is a slow, resonant tick-tock that vibrates softly in the floorboards and dances against the walls, creating a space where every second is accounted for and every moment is perfectly balanced. Imagine standing before this clock. Its brass pendulum swings with a smooth, hypnotic arc, left, right, cutting through the silence like a silver needle through silk. With every swing, the world slows down just a little bit more. You are not racing against the clock tonight, you are moving in harmony with it. The time that it measures is not the time of tasks or deadlines, it is the time of rest, the time of the moon, and the time of the deep, velvety dark. Feel the rhythm of that pendulum in your own body. Let your heart beat slow until it finds the same steady, comfortable pace. Each tick is an invitation to release, each tock is an invitation to go deeper. The air in the room feels thick with peace, a calm that is earned and deserved. You have lived through the day, you have filled your hours with purpose, and now the clock is telling you that the day has fulfilled its promise. It is time to step into the sanctuary of the night. Think of the generations of people who have fallen asleep to this very sound. It is a timeless lullaby, a connection to the past that anchors you in the present. You are part of an infinite chain of travellers who have found rest in the quiet of a house, guided by the steady pulse of time. You do not need to look at the dial, the clock knows the way. It knows that the dawn is far off, and that for now the only thing that matters is the next, slow, gentle swing of the pendulum. As you lie here, let the ticking become the only sound in your world. It is the music of your descent into sleep. The pendulum is swinging, your eyelids are heavy, and the room is fading into a soft golden blur of comfort. There is no worry, no tension, and no need to move. You are perfectly in sync with the universe. Everything is steady, everything is secure, and you are drifting deeper, deeper, carried by the rhythmic pulse of the night into the boundless silent ocean of your most restorative sleep. We find ourselves back in the quiet sanctuary of the grand library, where the towering shelves of dark oak stretch toward the high, shadowed ceiling. In the 1800s, this was a place of intellectual exploration, a labyrinth of thousands of volumes waiting to be opened. But tonight, the books are resting. Their covers are closed, their pages are settled, and the wisdom they hold is tucked away in the silent, cooling air. The moonlight streams through the tall, leaded glass windows, casting long, rectangular shapes of pale light across the floor. Imagine standing in the centre of the room. The scent of old paper, leather bindings, and faint, sweet wood polish is a comforting embrace. It is a smell of history, of endurance, and of peaceful closure. There is no need to pick up a book tonight. There is no need to learn, to analyse, or to solve a problem. The stories, the facts, the philosophies, they are all safe where they are, waiting for another day. You have finished your own reading for now. You have turned the final page of your day, and the story is complete. Feel the stillness of the room. It is a profound, heavy silence that presses gently against your skin. The air is cool still and completely at peace. If you listen closely, you might hear the soft, faint creak of the floorboards as the house settles, a sound that is as solid and reliable as the stone foundation of this home. You are surrounded by the knowledge of the ages, yet the only thing you need to know tonight is that you are allowed to rest. Consider the wisdom of the closed book. It represents the ability to say, "This is enough." You have travelled through the chapters of your day. You have experienced the turning of the pages, and now you are choosing to place the book upon the shelf. You are choosing to stop the narrative, to close the covers, and to allow the quiet to take over. There is a deep, quiet power in that choice, a realization that you are not defined by what you do, but by the peace you can find when you stop doing altogether. As you lie here, feel the library fading into a soft, blurry outline in your mind. The rows of books are blending into the shadows. The light from the moon is becoming a gentle silvery mist, and your thoughts are becoming as still as the ink upon the page. You are protected, you are surrounded by the quiet weight of history, and you are drifting deeper, deeper into the hush of your own mind. The stories are sleeping, the ink is dry, and you're falling into the deepest, most tranquil chapter of your rest. We climb the narrow, creaking staircase one last time, ascending to the very top of the house, the attic. In the 1800s, this was a place apart, a quiet sanctuary under the eaves, where the world below felt distant and dreamlike. Here, the roof slopes gently down, and in the centre of the far wall there is a large circular window. Through this glass the night sky is framed like a painting, a vast expanse of dark velvet dotted with the soft, steady light of ancient stars. Imagine sitting on the low wooden stool by the window. The air here is thin, cool, and incredibly pure. From this height you can look out over the entire landscape we have travelled tonight. The fields of wheat, the winding river, the silhouette of the lighthouse, and the quiet, sleeping garden. Everything is bathed in the same silver moonlight. You are elevated above the busyness of the earth, watching over the world as it rests. There is a profound sense of perspective here. The things that seemed so urgent and large only hours ago are now nothing more than quiet shadows in the distance. Feel the peace of the height. There is no noise here, no movement, only the vast silent breathing of the night. You have climbed high enough to leave the weight of your day behind. It couldn't follow you up these stairs. It couldn't fit through the small circular frame of this window. You are light, you are free, and you are untethered. You are simply a witness to the beauty of the sleeping world, a soul at peace in the highest, quietest room of the house. Consider the stars that you see through the glass. They have been watching over this land for centuries, long before the house was built, and they will be watching long after we are gone. They are the ultimate symbols of constancy and calm. As you look at them, feel their quiet light washing over you, smoothing out the lines on your forehead, relaxing your eyes, and turning your mind into a mirror for their stillness. You are connected to the vastness of the universe, and in that connection you find the ultimate safety. As you gaze at the moon through the circular pane, feel your eyelids becoming incredibly heavy. The world is spinning slowly, gently, and you are spinning with it, anchored in this high, quiet place. There is nothing left to do but to let go. Let your head rest against the cool wood of the window frame. Let your breath become shallow and soft. The house is silent, the sky is deep, and you are drifting deeper, deeper, further into the stillness until you are floating in the dark, soft and endless ocean of sleep. We descend from the attic, not back into the house, but out through a side door into the cool, silver, mist-covered meadow. In the 19th century, these paths were the veins of the countryside, connecting homes to homes and dreams to realities. But tonight the paths are blurred, softly veiled in a gentle rolling fog that glows with the pale reflection of the moon. You do not need a map tonight. You do not need to know where the path leads, for the path itself is cradling you. Imagine yourself walking along this narrow trail. The ground is soft beneath your feet, covered in a carpet of cool, damp clover and wildflowers that are closed for the night. There is no urgency in your step. You are simply moving with the slow, rhythmic pace of the earth. The fog is thick and soft, like a veil of white velvet that wraps around you, muting the sounds of the world and turning the night into a private, intimate sanctuary. Every step is an act of trust. Feel the moisture of the mist against your skin, a refreshing, cooling sensation that instantly calms your pulse. The air is so quiet, you can hear the faint, muffled sound of your own heartbeat, a steady, rhythmic drum that tells you that you are here, you are present, and you are perfectly safe. You don't need to look ahead. You don't need to wonder what lies around the next bend. You only need to exist in the now, and in this moment the night is enough. Think of how often you spend your day worrying about the map, trying to plan, trying to predict, trying to ensure that you are heading in the right direction. But tonight, you can burn the map. You can let the fog be your guide. The path is already under your feet, and the destination is the deep, restorative rest that you have earned. You are being led, step by step, away from the complexities of your life and toward the simple, beautiful complexity of your own inner peace. As you walk, feel your legs growing heavy, your movements becoming slower, and your awareness narrowing down to the soft earth beneath you and the quiet stars above. The path is leading you home, but the home is no longer a building, it is a state of being. It is the place where you finally put down the baggage of your worries and step into the welcoming dark. You are drifting, deeper, deeper, letting the fog carry you, letting the night embrace you, until you are floating, weightless and free, in the silent, infinite landscape of sleep. As the fog thins, we find ourselves at the edge of an ancient forest where the trees are so tall they seem to touch the stars. In the 19th century, these woods were the silent witnesses to the passage of generations, their deep roots reaching down into the cool, dark earth, holding the land together. The moonlight filters through the high, interlocking branches, creating a dappled pattern of silver and shadow on the mossy forest floor. It is a cathedral of nature, a place of immense quiet strength. Imagine standing between these massive silver-barked trees. Place your hand against the rough, cold texture of one of the trunks. Feel the solidity of it, a life force that has stood here for hundreds of years, weathering every storm, greeting every dawn, and finding beauty in every night. There is no hurry in the life of a tree. It does not worry about the future. It simply grows, it breathes, and it stands tall. Let that sense of ancient patience enter your own spirit tonight. Listen to the sound of the wind moving through the leaves high above, a soft rushing whisper that sounds like the collective sigh of the forest. It is a sound of release. Whatever you have been holding on to today, let it go now. Let it be carried away on this gentle breeze, drifting up into the darkness, leaving you lighter, calmer, and more grounded than you have felt in a long time. You are not meant to carry the weight of the world, you are meant to stand, to breathe, and to be. Think of the roots beneath your feet, extending far down into the dark, quiet earth. They are tangled in a supportive embrace, a network of life that has thrived in the darkness for ages. You too are connected. You are supported by the earth, held by the gravity of the planet, and cradled by the night. You are never alone. The forest is here, watching over you, providing a sanctuary where you can finally completely let go of the need to be anything other than exactly who you are. Feel your body becoming as still as the trees. Your feet are anchored, your spine is long and relaxed, and your mind is clear and silent. The shadows are soft, the air is cool, and the night is deep. There is no more need to wander. You have found the heart of the forest, and you have found your own place of rest. You are drifting deeper, deeper into the steady, immovable peace of the woods. You are falling into the deepest, most quiet sleep, where your dreams are as calm and sturdy as the ancient sleeping trees. We have travelled far through the fields, the forests, and the quiet halls of memory, and now we return to the very start of our journey, the small, sturdy desk in your own quiet room. In the 1800s, this desk was the centre of all intellectual life, a place of letters, diaries, and careful records. Tonight there is only one object left, a single beeswax candle, its flame dancing with a tiny golden light, casting a warm, steady glow over the space where you began your evening. The wax has pooled, smooth and pale, and the flame is small, quiet, and perfectly content. It has spent the last hours illuminating your thoughts, guiding your journey, and holding the darkness at bay. But now it is time for the flame to rest. It has done its work. The room is comfortable, the shadows are familiar, and the time for activity has passed. Everything is complete. There is nothing left to write, nothing left to plan, and nothing left to resolve. Imagine the flame flickering one last time, a gentle pulse of light that reflects in your eyes. As it wanes, feel your own internal light, the busy, active energy of your mind, flickering and fading right along with it. With every slow breath you take, the light grows softer, dimmer, and more peaceful. The boundaries of the room begin to dissolve into the comforting embrace of the night. You are no longer focused on the desk, you are focused on the stillness that is expanding within you. Consider the beauty of this final moment. You have completed the project of your day. You have navigated the landscape of your own mind, visited the quiet corners of your history, and returned safely to the sanctuary of your bed. The candle is a witness to your achievement, a symbol of the focus and care you have brought to your life today, as the wick glows faintly red, then fades into a thin, rising wisp of white smoke. Let your consciousness follow that smoke upward, vanishing gently into the cool, silent air of the night. The room is now wrapped in a deep, absolute darkness that feels like the softest silk. You are safe, you are held, you are entirely at peace. There is no tomorrow, no yesterday, only this singular, beautiful moment of transition. Your limbs are heavy, your heart is slow, and your mind is perfectly still. You are drifting deeper, deeper, past the last flicker of light and into the vast, silent and restorative ocean of sleep. Everything is finished, everything is well, you are ready to rest. Beyond the fields and the ancient woods, we arrive at the edge of a great frozen river, a river of ice that has stood still for ages in the 1800s. Explorers were drawn to these sites to contemplate the sheer, overwhelming majesty of the natural world. Tonight we stand in the pale glow of the moon, looking out over a landscape of frozen water that shimmers with the soft, blue-white light of a winter dream. Everything is locked in a state of perfect crystalline stillness. Imagine the surface of the ice before you. It is smooth, vast and clear, reflecting the star-filled sky like a giant polished mirror. There is no sound here, no rushing water, no rustling leaves, no ticking clocks. The silence is absolute, so deep and pure that it seems to vibrate in the air around you. It is a silence that clears the mind, washing away the last remnants of the day's chatter until there is nothing left but the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. Feel the cool, crisp air against your face. It is sharp and clean, a stark contrast to the warmth you left behind in your room. This cold is not harsh, it is restorative. It brings a sense of clarity, a way to freeze all the worries and complexities of your day in place, turning them into solid, harmless objects that no longer hold any power over you. They are distant, they are frozen, and they are completely still. You are free from the weight of your own thoughts. Consider the wisdom of the ice. It does not try to move, it does not try to change, it simply exists, holding on to the history of the earth within its layers, waiting patiently for the cycle of the seasons to turn. You too can learn to wait. You do not need to push yourself into the next day. You do not need to solve the mysteries of the future. You only need to exist here, in this quiet, frozen moment where time itself seems to have paused just to let you rest. As you gaze across the expanse of the glacier, feel your body becoming just as still, just as solid, and just as peaceful. Your feet are planted firmly on the earth, and your mind is vast and open, mirroring the frozen landscape. The cold air is a blanket of serenity, and the darkness of the night is a cradle of safety. You are drifting deeper, deeper into the heart of the winter night, where every breath is a soft, crystalline snowflake falling into the deep, dark and beautiful silence of sleep. We drift away from the frozen river and find ourselves standing on a rugged, salt-sprayed cliffside, overlooking the vast, dark expanse of the ocean. In the 19th century, the lighthouse was the sentinel of the coast, a beacon of hope for any traveller caught in the uncertainty of the night. Ahead, the tower stands tall and white, its base anchored deep into the ancient stone, its presence a constant, reassuring hum in the darkness. Imagine the rhythmic sweep of the light. It is not bright or harsh, it is a soft amber glow that rotates slowly, a gentle sweeping pulse that crosses the water, disappears into the mist, and returns again with the predictability of a heartbeat. This light is not searching for anything, it is simply marking the space, defining the boundary between the restless sea and the safety of the shore. You are standing on the safe side of that boundary. Feel the cool, salt-tinged air as it moves over the cliffs. It is heavy, damp, and rhythmic, matching the rise and fall of the tide far below. The sound of the waves against the rocks is not a roar, but a deep, rolling whisper, a lullaby composed of water, stone, and time. With each pulse of the lighthouse beam, feel your own thoughts softening. As the light sweeps across the horizon, it seems to clear away the last shadows of your day, leaving your mind open and empty, ready for the dream state. Consider how the lighthouse does its work. It doesn't move, it doesn't strain, it simply shines because that is its nature, and that is exactly what you are doing tonight. You are not striving, you are not reaching, you are not trying to navigate your way through tomorrow's challenges. You are simply being. You are the shore and you are the light. You have a central solid core of peace that remains steady no matter how vast or dark the waters of your imagination may be. As you stand here watching the light arc across the velvet sky, feel your entire body becoming anchored. Just like the lighthouse tower, your breathing is slow, rhythmic, and perfectly synchronized with the beam. The ocean is wide, the night is deep, and you are tucked away in the safety of this quiet moment. There is no need to travel any further. You have arrived. You are drifting deeper, deeper, carried by the gentle pulse of the light into the silent, vast, and calm harbour of your most peaceful sleep. We leave the rugged cliffs behind and find ourselves standing once more in the familiar garden that surrounds your home. In the 1800s, there was a particular comfort in approaching one's house at night, to see the structure standing solid, dark, and protective against the vast, star-filled sky. From here you can see the windows of your own room, framed by the gentle silver light of the moon. They look peaceful, waiting for you to return to the rest that has been prepared for you. Imagine the house as a living, breathing entity. Its foundation is deep in the earth. Its timbers are seasoned and strong, and its roof is a shelter against the infinite expanse of the night. It is a place that has held your laughter, your stories, and your efforts throughout the day. Now it holds only silence. There is no urgency within its walls. The house is not waiting for anything. It is simply existing in a state of grace, wrapped in the cool, quiet air of the garden. Look at the way the moonlight rests on the roof. It gives the house a soft, ethereal quality, making it seem less like stone and wood and more like a dream you're waking up into. You're approaching your own sanctuary. With every slow, quiet step you take across the grass, you are shedding the final, lingering sensations of the day. You are becoming as quiet as the garden, as still as the trees, and as settled as the foundation of the house itself. Think of the interior of your room, the warmth, the soft linens, the feeling of absolute privacy. That room is a vessel for your rest. Whatever you experience today, it is all being left outside the threshold of this house. The threshold is a boundary. When you step across it, you leave behind the person who had to do things, and you step into the person who is simply being. The house is a gate to the world of dreams, and you have reached the gate. Feel the heavy, comforting presence of the building as you grow closer. It is a sentinel of your peace, a protector of your stillness. Your breathing is soft, matched to the slow, nocturnal pulse of the night. The garden is silent, the windows are dark, and you are drifting deeper, deeper toward the front door, toward the quiet hallway, and finally toward the bed that has been waiting for you all evening. You are arriving at the core of your own tranquility, falling slowly, weightlessly into the heart of your rest. We find ourselves pausing at a small, arched wooden bridge that spans a narrow, bubbling brook near the edge of the garden. In the 1800s, such bridges were common sights, connecting the cultivated life of the garden to the untamed, silent beauty of the woods beyond. The wood is weathered and smooth, worn by years of gentle footfalls, and it glows softly under the moonlight. This bridge is a boundary, a place where you stand between the familiar world of your day and the infinite dark ocean of the night. Imagine stepping onto the bridge. With each slow, deliberate footfall, the wooden planks give a faint, soft creak, a sound that feels like a quiet invitation to settle. Below you, the water flows over smooth stones, creating a rhythmic, liquid music that doesn't demand your attention. It simply sings the song of the night, a continuous flowing melody that carries away any remaining threads of thought. Whatever you were holding in your mind, a plan, a memory, a lingering question, let it fall into the water now. Watch it be carried away by the current, becoming part of the stream, becoming part of the silence. Feel the cool evening air wrapping around your shoulders like a soft, heavy shawl. You are standing perfectly still in the center of the bridge, balanced between the two banks of your life. On one side is the energy of your day, and on the other is the profound restorative peace of your rest. You have no need to look back. The bridge is sturdy, the foundation is sound, and you are ready to cross over. You are letting go of the need to be productive, the need to lead, and the need to know. Consider the act of crossing. It is the final transition of your journey tonight. As you move toward the other side, feel your body becoming lighter, as if you are shedding a heavy coat of armor. Every muscle in your body, your shoulders, your neck, your hands, is relaxing into the gentle, cooling air. You are becoming fluid, like the water beneath the bridge, flowing seamlessly from the activity of your mind into the tranquility of your soul. As you reach the far side of the bridge, you are leaving the last remnants of the external world behind. You are stepping onto a path that leads only to stillness. The bridge is quiet, the stream is singing its soft lullaby, and the night is deep and welcoming. You are drifting deeper, deeper across the threshold of your consciousness, moving further away from the banks of the waking world and into the soft, velvet silence of the dream state. Everything is falling away, and you are arriving at the place where only rest remains. We have crossed the bridge, and now we stand before the heavy, solid oak doors of the house. In the 1800s, these doors were more than just an entrance. They were a promise of security, a physical barrier that separated the demands of the world from the sanctity of home. The wood is dark, polished by decades of care, and it feels cool and steady under your hand. You are home, you are safe, you are within the quiet architecture of your own rest. Imagine the sound of the door closing, a soft, muffled thud that resonates deep in the floorboards. It is the final sound of the night. With that sound, everything external is sealed away. The wind, the shadows, the vastness of the forest, the distance of the stars, they are all outside now. Here the air is still and warm, holding the faint, comforting scent of beeswax and old wood. The house has folded itself around you like a protective shell, ensuring that nothing can disturb the peace you have cultivated this evening. Feel the heavy silence of the hallway. It is a silence that has weight and texture, a velvet stillness that presses gently against your skin. You are standing in the center of the foyer, and with every breath you take, you feel your heartbeat sinking with the quiet pulse of the building. The house is sleeping, and as you stand here, you are becoming part of that slumber. You are no longer a person of the day, moving with purpose. You are a creature of the night, moving with grace into the depths of your own stillness. Think of the interior of the house as a labyrinth of quiet rooms, each one waiting to receive you. You don't need to choose one, you are already where you need to be. The transition is complete. You have successfully navigated the day, travelled through the memories, walked the fields and the forests, and now you have come back to the centre of your own existence. There is no need for keys, no need for light, and no need for vigilance. You are entirely, completely off duty. As you stand in the quiet dark of the hallway, feel your limbs growing heavy, rooted to the spot in the most comfortable, effortless way. The house is a sanctuary of your own design, a fortress of calm that protects your deepest, most restorative sleep. There is nothing else to do. There is nowhere else to go. You are drifting deeper, deeper, letting the heavy door of the night close behind you, sealing you into this soft, warm, and infinite space of peace. You are home, you are resting, you are asleep. The journey is complete. We have walked through the fields, stood by the river, crossed the bridge, and returned to the sanctuary of your own home. Every step has led you here, to this exact moment, to the quiet stillness of your bed and the deep, restorative dark of the night. Everything you have done today is now part of the past. The history of the day is written, the chapters are closed, and the ink is dry. There is no need to revisit, no need to edit, and no need to carry it with you any further. You have released it all, piece by piece, into the cooling air, into the flowing water, and into the silence of the woods. Feel how light you have become. Your body is heavy and warm, sinking deeper into the soft support beneath you, while your mind is as light as the mist, drifting effortlessly through the calm. You are no longer doing, you are simply being. You are existing in the quiet, golden space between thoughts, where there is nothing but the slow, rhythmic rise and fall of your own breath. Listen to the silence one last time. It is not empty. It is full. It is full of peace, full of safety, and full of the promise of renewal. You have earned this rest. You deserve this stillness. The world will continue to turn while you sleep. The tides will continue to rise and fall, and the stars will continue their ancient silent dance, but for now you are exempt from it all. You are a part of the stillness. As you drift deeper, deeper, let the memory of this journey fade into the background. You don't need to hold on to the story anymore. You can let the words dissolve, let the images blur, and let the quiet take complete control. There is nothing left to wait for. The night is deep, your heart is slow, and your consciousness is gently, softly releasing its final hold. You are falling into the deepest, most tranquil sleep, a sleep that is wide and calm and infinite, a sleep where you are completely renewed, completely safe, and completely at peace. Rest now. Sleep. Sleepy History with Benedict is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience. This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.